Chapter 1952. The Joyful Buddha is the sect leader of the Joyful sect. Although he is unbearable, he is extremely powerful. He has been a sage king for hundreds of thousands of years. He is unfathomable. Therefore, I don't want to implicate Yuanjun. Please go and tell Yuanjun that my heart will never change until death. Xiaoya looked at Ling Xiao seriously with a hint of determination in her eyes. Miss Xiaoya's feelings are admirable. However, I heard from Master He that he once went to the Thousand Buddha Temple to ask for your soul back, but he was rejected. At that time, Miss Xiaoya's soul should only be a mortal soul, right? Why would the Thousand Buddha Temple value your soul so much? Ling Xiao sighed softly and asked with some doubt. He and Master Wine guessed that Miss Xiaoya's soul should be hiding some kind of secret. Otherwise, the Buddhist sect's attitude would not be so suspicious. However, Ling Xiao and Master Wine did not know the reason. It's a long story. Xiaoya sighed and said, You and Yuanjun guessed correctly. My soul is indeed a little special because it contains the spirit of karma. Spirit of karma? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he suddenly thought of something. He could not help but blurt out, the spirit of karma that you mentioned, could it be the so-called indestructible soul, the power left behind by the Karma Emperor? Ling Xiao was extremely shocked and found it hard to believe. The Karma Emperor was said to be one of the most ancient emperors. He was born in ancient times, at the beginning of the world. The Karma secret skill was said to be left behind by the Karma Emperor. Later on, it was obtained by the three Buddhas of the Buddhist sect and they became emperors. Therefore, the Karma Emperor was the ancestor of the Buddhist sect. Legend had it that the Karma Emperor was beyond the heavenly Tao. He was neither dead nor alive, immortal and indestructible. He could sever the karma of all living beings and use all living beings as his chess pieces. His strength was terrifying. However, the Karma Emperor disappeared at the end of ancient times. The spirit of karma was the power left behind by the Karma Emperor. Legend had it that as long as one had the spirit of karma, they would have an indestructible soul. The soul would be immortal and could even absorb the karma power of all living beings to come back to life. Those who possessed the spirit of karma were also the most suitable people to cultivate the secret arts of karma. However, after countless years of searching, the number of people who possessed the spirit of karma could be counted on one's fingers. Possessing the spirit of karma was also known as the saint body of karma. That's right. My karma spirit came from the Karma Great Emperor. That's why I have an indestructible soul and won't enter the cycle of reincarnation. Even my memories can be preserved and won't be erased. The Buddha of Joy accidentally found out that I had the spirit of karma, so he wanted to take it away from me. Xiaoya said slowly. If that's the case, I'm afraid that the other Buddhists don't know that you possess the spirit of karma, right? Otherwise, they wouldn't have allowed the Buddha of Joy to act so recklessly. Instead, they would have treated you as the successor of Buddhism and nurtured you with great care. Ling Xiao sighed. You're right. Only the Buddha of Joy knows that I possess the spirit of karma. Of course, that includes you now. The spirit of karma is hidden in my soul. Even someone as powerful as the Buddha of Joy would find it difficult to take it away from me. He was afraid that he would hurt my soul and destroy the spirit of karma. Xiaoya nodded. Then, he arranged for you to be the goddess of joy. Is there a deeper meaning? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he asked. You're right. The Buddha of Joy arranged for me to be the goddess of joy for two reasons. Firstly, he wanted to use my spirit of karma to absorb the karma energy of all living beings to improve my cultivation. Secondly, he was also preparing to seize the spirit of karma. I don't know where he obtained a secret technique, but when I reached sainthood, he was able to temporarily separate the spirit of karma from my soul so that he could absorb it. The Buddha of Joy has been in the King Sage realm for a long time. I guess he wanted to obtain the spirit of karma to comprehend the secret arts of karma and take the last step. Xiaoya said slowly. The Emperor realm? He's so ambitious. Ling Xiao said with a sneer. He had learned the whole story from Xiaoye and the secret of the spirit of karma. He finally understood the Buddha of Joy's intention and was full of hatred for him. However, it shouldn't be difficult for him to forcibly raise you to the sage realm, right? Ling Xiao asked another question. It's not difficult. Xiaoye nodded and said with a wry smile, he could forcibly raise me to the sage realm, but in that case, the way of heaven would be flawed and the spirit of karma he would obtain would be greatly reduced. That's why he made me the goddess of joy and used the karma energy of all living beings to improve my cultivation and strengthen the spirit of karma. Although I'm trying my best to suppress my cultivation, I'm not far from the sage tribulation. Is there really no other way? Ling Xiao said with some reluctance. The Buddha of Joy was too strong. As the sect leader of a Buddhist sect and a super expert in the King Sage realm, it would not be difficult for him to kill Ling Xiao even if he had the wordless heavenly book and the flipping sky seal. However, Ling Xiao did not want to give up on meeting Xiaoye so easily. It's not that there's no other way. Xiaoye pondered for a moment, but still shook her head and said, no, it's too risky. Miss Xiaoye, what do you have in mind? Ling Xiao asked curiously. The way is to transfer the spirit of karma from my soul to you. Without the spirit of karma, I'm confident that I can get rid of the Buddha of Joy. However, I'm afraid you'll be in danger. That's why I said it's too risky. Xiaoye said slowly. Transfer the spirit of karma to me? If it's really possible, I'm willing to do it. Miss Xiaoye, this time I must get you out of here and reunite with Master He. Ling Xiao said seriously. Even if you're willing to do it, in the process of transferring the spirit of karma, the Buddha of Joy will realize that if he enters the 8-treasure lotus pond of merit, we're no match for him. At that time, I won't regret my death, but I don't want to implicate you. Xiaoye shook her head and said hesitantly. Miss Xiaoye, I know a place that may be able to stop the Buddha of Joy for a moment. However, I haven't tested it yet. Let me test it first. If it can stop the Buddha of Joy's attack, then we'll use this method. What do you think? Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he suddenly thought of the Buddhist treasure that Zhao Ritian had mentioned. Even the King Sage experts in the White Horse Temple could not find the Buddhist treasure. It must be extremely hidden. The Buddha of Joy would not be able to find it either. That might be the most suitable place. There's such a place in the 8-treasure lotus pond of merit. You can try, but if you can't do it, don't force it. I appreciate your kindness. Xiaoye said with some surprise. Although she agreed to give it a try, she did not have much hope. Chapter 1953. Miss Xiaoyu, can you release a friend of mine? Ling Zhao's palm shone brightly as Zhao Ritian's image appeared. If he wanted to go to the Buddhist treasure, he would need Zhao Ritian to lead him there. Your friend is interesting. I didn't expect his heart force to be so strong. He's not much weaker than you. When Xiaoyu saw Zhao Ritian, she closed her eyes and pondered for a while. When she opened her eyes, they shone with a strange light. Kacha! 7-colored divine light flashed in the void and exploded like lightning. Zhao Ritian appeared in front of Ling Xiao. Where is this? How dare you conjure a beauty to confuse me? Ling Xiao, take this. When Zhao Ritian saw Xiaoye and Ling Xiao, his eyes were instantly filled with excitement. He immediately threw a punch at Ling Xiao. Zhao Ritian, are you crazy? This isn't an illusion. I'm Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao rolled his eyes and transmitted his voice to Zhao Ritian. Ling Xiao knew that Zhao Ritian must have thought that he and Xiaoyu were illusions. That was why he attacked him. Ling Xiao was really curious about what Zhao Ritian had experienced in the Pure Land. Whoosh! Ling Xiao did not take Zhao Ritian's punch head-on. Instead, light flashed under his feet and he used the teleportation secret skill to dodge the attack. Zhao Ritian's punch landed on the void, producing an explosive sound. Ling Xiao. Zhao Ritian's eyes widened. He laughed dryly and said, I'm sorry. Your figure kept appearing in the illusion just now. I finally gave you a good beating. I didn't expect your real body to appear. Where is this place? Is she, the goddess of joy? Zhao Ritian looked at the joy goddess with a hint of doubt and curiosity in his eyes. That's right. She's the goddess of joy. She's also Miss Xiao Yu. Ling Xiao rolled his eyes. He knew that Zhao Ritian must have experienced something bad in the illusion. However, he did not dwell on it. Instead, he nodded and told Zhao Ritian about the goddess of joy. It's that shameless Buddha of joy. Don't worry, Miss Xiao Yu. We'll protect you and bring you out of here safely. Zhao Ritian patted his chest and said. Thank you, young master. Xiaoye said with a smile. Looks like we need to find the little princess again and ask her to bring us into the scripture pavilion. Ling Xiao said slowly. Puji doted on the little princess a lot. That was why the little princess was allowed to enter the sutra depository as she pleased. She was able to bring Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian into the sutra depository without any hindrance. Are the Buddhist treasures you mentioned in the sutra depository? If that's the case, I should bring you guys into the scripture pavilion. Master Puchi should give me some face. A divine light flashed in Xiaoye's eyes as she said slowly. I forgot that Miss Xiao Yu is now the goddess of bliss. Her status is only second to that of the Buddha of bliss. Compared to the abbot of the White Horse Temple, you are naturally much more powerful. After the blissful meeting is over, we will go to the scripture pavilion. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and nodded his head. At present, the Elysium Convention was in the process of being carried out. Miss Xiao Yu had to preside over the Elysium, so she naturally couldn't leave for the time being. Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian left the Western Paradise and reappeared in the White Horse Temple. What a mystical Western Paradise! Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian could see that the huge square in front of the White Horse Temple was covered by a vast rainbow-colored divine light. There were countless figures sitting cross-legged in it. Every one of them looked solemn and dignified, with faint smiles on their faces. They were blissful and satisfied. It was as if they were immersed in the Western Paradise and couldn't extricate themselves. This Western Paradise is able to trigger the deepest thoughts in everyone's heart. It's really not simple. Zhao Ritian exclaimed. It's not simple. I didn't expect you to want to trample on me so much. Ling Xiao said as he glanced at Zhao Ritian. In the Western Paradise, the people Ling Xiao cared about the most were Jin Sei, Shui Wei, his parents, and the old goat. For them, Ling Xiao was willing to pay any price. Therefore, in the Western Paradise, all of them appeared in front of Ling Xiao. As for Zhao Ritian, Ling Xiao did not expect that the deepest thought in his heart was to beat Ling Xiao up viciously. That was why the Pure Land of Ultimate Bliss created Ling Xiao, allowing Zhao Ritian to vent his frustrations without restraint. How could that be? You're thinking too much. I, Zhao Ritian, am destined to be an unparalleled emperor who can sweep through all the worlds. I will definitely fight against all the heroes in the world. You're just the person I care about the most. I don't want to trample on you at all. Zhao Ritian said righteously. He didn't admit that he had such thoughts at all. However, this guy was a little guilty. After glancing at Ling Xiao, he quickly turned his head away. Ling Xiao found it funny, but he didn't expose him. This Elysium is actually able to absorb everyone's karmic power. A divine light flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes as though his eyes had turned black and white. One could vaguely see countless lines entwined around everyone's bodies. These lines intertwined and merged into the depths of the void, forming an incomparably strange connection with the people around them as well as other people. Those lines were the karma energy. Ling Xiao realized that as those people were immersed in the Western Paradise, the karma energy of their bodies merged into the Western Paradise and was absorbed by Xiaoye. To be able to absorb the karma energy, Xiaoye's karma energy was indeed domineering. Everyone will be tainted by karma. Sages are even more fearful of karma and don't want to be tainted by it. I didn't expect the karma spirit to be able to absorb the karma energy. Did Mandapa Buddha allow Xiaoye to absorb the karma energy just to increase her cultivation? Ling Xiao thought to himself. He could feel that in order to condense the Western paradise, a huge price had to be paid. This was a price that even ordinary sages couldn't afford. Mandapa Buddha might have done this for the karma spirit in Xiaoya, but Ling Xiao felt that Mandapa Buddha had other intentions. Why are they here? Ling Xiao's eyes shone brightly as he saw 3 figures approaching from afar. Li Chunyang carried the little princess and walked slowly into the White Horse Temple under the lead of a cold and arrogant monk in a black robe. The monk in the black robe was the disciple of Puji State Preceptor, Yuan Chen. Your Highnesses, this is the Western Paradise. Yuan Chen pointed at the rainbow divine light boundary in front of them and smiled. Western Paradise? Looking at the expressions of these people, I know it's not something good. Chapter 1954. In the 7-colored divine light, everyone sat cross-legged on the square with different expressions. Most of them had satisfied smiles, and when Li Chunyang saw these smiles, she seemed to think of something, and the disgust on her face became even more intense. The little princess looked left and right, her big eyes filled with curiosity. Brother Kasayapa and Brother Anan should be here for the blissful convention. Big sister, where are they? Why can't I see them? The little princess asked. Don't mention those 2 bastards. They must be having fun in the blissful convention right now. Li Chunyang snorted coldly. The reason why they did not see Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian was because Xiao Yu was afraid that someone would notice them. He had also cast a layer of 7-colored enchantment around them, concealing their auras. Yuan Chen, why did you bring us here? If it's just to watch the blissful convention, then forget it. Li Chunyang glanced at Yuan Chen and said flatly. Your Highnesses, I brought you here because someone wants to see you. Yuan Chen smiled faintly, but there was a strange look in his eyes. Who wants to see us? Li Chunyang's heart skipped a beat when she saw Yuan Chen's expression. She instinctively felt that something was wrong, so she asked cautiously. I want to see you. A strange smile appeared on Yuan Chen's face. Suddenly, a black light flickered around his body. Endless demonic light rose and instantly turned into an old man in a black robe. His face looked incomparably ferocious. His aura enveloped Li Chunyang and the little princess, causing them to involuntarily tremble. It was as if they had fallen into an icy abyss. You. Who are you? Li Chunyang's expression changed drastically, and her eyes were filled with disbelief. She instinctively wanted to distance herself from Yuan Chen. However, Yuan Chen, who was the black-robed elder, smiled faintly, and a terrifying demonic aura erupted around him. It was as if millions of mountains were pressing down on her, causing Li Chunyang to tremble. She couldn't even take a step forward. You're a saint. A trace of despair appeared in Li Chunyang's eyes, and his face instantly became extremely pale. You're the heavenly demon saint. The little princess stared at the black-robed elder in front of her and suddenly said. Little girl, you have a good memory. That's right. We've met at Jinshan Temple. The black-robed old man smiled. He was the heavenly demon saint who had arrived when Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian were born in the Golden Mountain Temple. He had almost caused Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian to be devoured by the extraterrestrial demons, turning the entire Golden Mountain Temple into a ghost town. No one expected that he would appear in Jinshan Temple. Is it the heavenly demon saint? How could he be so unbridled? Not to mention the holy king hidden in the White Horse Temple, even Puji's state preceptor is not someone he can contend with, right? Zhao Ritian said with a hint of surprise in his eyes. The extraterrestrial demons are all extremely cunning. Since he dares to come, I'm afraid he has nothing to fear. Ling Xiao said slowly with a serious look in his eyes. He keenly sensed that a huge crisis was about to descend. However, the 7-colored barrier Xiaoya cast on them was very mysterious. Not only did it block the senses of Li Chunyang and the little princess, even the celestial demon saint did not notice them. Celestial demon saint, you. How dare you come here? Aren't you afraid that my father and the state preceptor will suppress you? Li Chunyang said with a pale face. She could not understand. In Jinshan Temple, the celestial demon saint was defeated by Puji State Preceptor's avatar. But now, he had appeared in White Horse Temple openly. Since I dared to come, I'm naturally not afraid of that old bald donkey Puji or Li Daozong. The celestial demon saint said calmly with a strange smile on his face. Rumble. Just as he finished speaking, the void trembled violently in an instant. Countless extraterrestrial demons were howling. Their ghostly wails and howls were incessant, causing one to shudder all over. In an instant, the entire Chang'an city was shrouded in endless black demonic light. From the north, south, east, and west, a figure with a terrifying aura appeared. They were tens of thousands of feet tall and were shrouded in black demonic light. They were like heavenly pillars that covered the sky and the sun. The devil chi between them was connected, as if forming a huge formation. Roar! 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 The wailing of ghosts and wailing of wolves resounded through the void. The strange sound waves were extremely sharp, causing people's hearts to tremble. It was as if they were about to lose their minds. Ling Xiao could feel that the aura of the four figures was terrifying. They were not inferior to State Preceptor Puji. Four extraterrestrial demons that were comparable to State Preceptor Puji, or even stronger than State Preceptor Puji, had arrived. What are you trying to do? Li Chunyang shouted, his eyes full of panic. The four extraterrestrial demons were too terrifying. The power between them rose and the demonic light surged, as if they were going to drown the entire Chang'an city. At this moment, countless people in Chang'an city began to panic. Screams, screams, and cries rang out incessantly. Everyone was frightened by the four godlike figures. I don't want to do anything. I just want to use your sister to find someone. Little girl, come here. The celestial demon saint smiled faintly. His gaze fell on the little princess and he reached out to her. You. Don't even think about it. Li Chunyang's eyes flashed with a hint of determination. Actually, you know that you can't stop me. The celestial demon saint smiled faintly. There was no trace of displeasure on his face. He waved his hand, and a black divine light immediately swept up the little princess. Li Chunyang's eyes were spitting fire. He was extremely angry and anxious, but he could only watch as the little princess fell into the hands of the celestial demon saint. You're a bad guy. The little princess glared at the celestial demon saint and said. Her little mouth pouted angrily, which was indescribably cute. I'm not a bad guy. I'm a celestial demon. Little girl, don't listen to the nonsense of those bald donkeys. Those bald donkeys are a bunch of sanctimonious, despicable, and shameless people. Little girl, how about you help me find someone? The celestial demon saint smiled faintly. I'm not helping you. The little princess turned her head and said proudly. That's not up to you. I've waited for so many years, and this day has finally come. So, no one can stop me today. The celestial demon saint said calmly. Then, his sharp fingertip drew across the little princess's forehead. Ah! It hurts. Boo-hoo. You're a bad guy. The little princess felt the pain and stared at the celestial demon saint with tears in her eyes. She looked very wronged. Whoosh! A drop of sparkling and translucent blood droplet flew up and spun slowly in the air, emitting a strange light. The Empyrean demon saint ignored the little princess. Instead, he stared at the droplet of blood eagerly. He's not the celestial demon saint. Ling Zhao's eyes suddenly flashed as he said firmly. Chapter 1955. Ling Xiao had seen the heavenly demon saint in the Jinshan temple. The heavenly demon saint was only a saint at that time. Puji did not even show his true form before he was beaten to a pulp. However, the heavenly demon saint in front of him gave Ling Xiao a different feeling. His expression and gaze were too confident, as if he was a divine dragon overlooking a group of ants. He was filled with absolute strength and confidence. Although he was smiling, his smile revealed the indifference of looking down on the world and seeing all living beings as ants. Moreover, the 4 heavenly demons around Chang and city were all great saints. It was impossible for a mere saint to command 4 heavenly demon great saints. However, who was this heavenly demon saint? Buzz! The drop of blood in the void became more and more crystalline, emitting 9-colored divine light. It was as if it contained a mysterious world. In the world of the drop of blood, there was a graceful figure. Her body was shrouded in a mysterious brilliance. Mysterious lines of karma gathered around her, making her appear even more mysterious and unfathomable. If not for Ling Xiao's special eyes, he would not have been able to see those karmic lines. Ling Xiao instantly thought of a term. Karmic spirit. Why does the little princess have a karmic spirit? Ling Xiao's body trembled. His heart was in turmoil, but he did not show it on the surface. The heavenly demon saint stared at the drop of blood, the anticipation in his eyes growing stronger and stronger. How dare you! At this moment, a roar came from the depths of the White Horse Temple. It was like thunder, causing the surrounding void to tremble violently. Kaboom! The blazing light of Buddha rose up, accompanied by mysterious Sanskrit chants. Golden lotuses bloomed in the void. State Master Puji was shrouded in golden clouds. He rose up directly, his eyes full of cold anger. So, the spy hiding in my White Horse Temple is you. Puji stared at the heavenly demon saint, the killing intent in his eyes almost tangible. His divine aura was vast and unparalleled, as if it could shatter the surrounding void. Then, he threw a punch at the heavenly demon saint. You saw through it. Unfortunately, you can't change the outcome today. White Horse Temple and Chang and City no longer need to exist today. The heavenly demon saint said calmly with a strange smile on his face. In the face of Puji's fierce and overbearing punch, he just waved his sleeves lightly. Suddenly, a black light covered the sky, like a huge sky curtain, shrouding Puji's fist print. It was directly swallowed by the darkness and disappeared without a trace. He really isn't the heavenly demon saint. Ling Xiao's heart skipped a beat, confirming his earlier guess. The holy aura that Imperial Preceptor Puchi unleashed was definitely the power of a supreme saint, but it was easily neutralized by the celestial devil saint. If he's not the Empyrean demon saint, then who is he? How can he possess the Empyrean demon saint? Zhao Ritian was shocked as well. At this moment, they were all wrapped in a 7-colored barrier, as if they were one with Elysium, but in the face of the vast power of Puji Imperial Advisor and Heavenly Demon Saint, they did not dare to make the slightest move. The power of a great saint was enough to kill a 9th Revolution half-saint with just a wisp of saint aura. Let her go. Puji's face twitched as he stared at the little princess. Let her go. Are you talking about this cute little girl, or the spirit of karma in her body? The celestial demon saint smiled. He picked up the little princess and stood in the air. He seemed extremely casual. He opened his mouth and the droplet of blood in the air immediately fell into his mouth. The heavenly demon saint immediately showed an intoxicated expression. How delicious, the spirit of karma. It really is the spirit of karma. You really came for the spirit of karma. I wonder, which of the 3 ancestors of the extraterrestrial demons are you? Puji Imperial Preceptor's expression became a little calm as he said faintly. How do you know my identity? That's not right. This is not the complete spirit of karma, this is only a part of its power. Where is the complete spirit of karma? The heavenly demon saint's eyes showed a hint of surprise, but then his expression changed drastically as if he had sensed something different. He stared at Puji Imperial Preceptor and asked. His eyes were extremely terrifying, and he seemed to be extremely bloodthirsty and crazy, exuding the purest aura of destruction. The 3 ancestors of the extraterrestrial demons? They're here. Ling Xiao could not help but tremble. He had heard from the little princess that the reason why the extraterrestrial demons were so powerful was that they had 3 ancestors. Their strength was terrifying and was comparable to the Buddhas of the Buddhist sect. In other words, they were saint kings. Moreover, the existence of the three ancestors of the extraterrestrial demons had long been unverified. It was rumored that they existed even before the White Horse Temple and the Tang Empire. Although they rarely appeared in the 8-treasure Lotus Pond of Merit, every time they appeared, it would set off a bloody storm, and they would easily massacre cities and destroy countries. If the three ancestors of the extraterrestrial demons were to descend, who could resist them? If you want the complete spirit of karma, then exchange it with your life. Brothers, follow me to subdue the demons. Puji Imperial Preceptor roared. Boom! 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 In an instant, the surrounding void shook violently. The White Horse Temple was overflowing with dazzling Buddhist light. 4 figures with terrifying auras that were no weaker than Puji Imperial Preceptor soared into the sky. They were 4 old monks in green monk robes, with white hair and beards. Each of them was filled with vitality. Their palms were placed together, and they were surrounded by an extremely pure Buddhist light. Their eyes were filled with divine light, deep and vicissitudes. The 4 of them stood side by side with Puji Imperial Preceptor. In an instant, 5 powerful waves of energy locked onto the heavenly demon saint. At the same time, several terrifying auras soared into the sky from the imperial city and charged towards the 4 heavenly demon supreme saints. At the same time, the aura of Chung and city shook, and runes rose. A powerful formation was also activated, resisting the demonic light that filled the sky. Is this your so-called trap? Are you trying to lure me here? How ignorant! The heavenly demon saint stared at the 5 Buddhist supreme saints in front of him. His eyes were very calm, and his expression was indifferent, as if he did not care at all. Demonic spirit ancestor, what if I join in? At this moment, an extremely old voice sounded behind the heavenly demon saint. What? The heavenly demon saint felt a powerful threat coming from behind him. He immediately felt that something was wrong. His body flew forward rapidly, and at the same time, he turned his head abruptly. Chapter 1956. That palm seemed very gentle, like a gentle breeze. It had no power at all, but it made the heavenly demon saint feel as if he was facing a great enemy. Terrifying demonic light gushed out from his body, instantly turning into 18 layers of demonic shields to block that palm. Crack! With a crisp sound, the 18 layers of demonic shields were annihilated at the same time, and the palm landed on the heavenly demon saint's body. Puff! The celestial demon saint's body actually became illusory in an instant. Vast demonic aura radiated from his body. His eyes suddenly bulged out as blood flowed out. He spat out blood as well. Even the little princess, who had been in the heavenly demon saint's arms, was instantly sent flying. Go and find father. Li Chunyang reached out and caught the little princess safely, and said with a gentle look in his eyes. Are you, my sister? The little princess said crisply. Li Chunyang in front of her made her feel extremely unfamiliar. Go quickly. Li Chunyang smiled faintly, and then sent the little princess into the distance. Immediately, a few monks from the White Horse Temple protected the little princess. You. How can you still be alive? This is impossible. This is simply impossible. Tankegara. The heavenly demon saint's body began to collapse at a speed visible to the naked eye, and a faint shadow floated out from the heavenly demon saint's body. It was a mass of black demonic light, and it shrouded an extremely mysterious figure, who let out an incredulous roar. Nothing is impossible. Demonic spirit primogenitor, you failed to kill me 1,000,000 years ago. Today, let us settle this once and for all. Li Chunyang said faintly, and his voice was ancient and ethereal. Greetings, ancestral master. The 5 great sages of Buddhism, led by State Master Puji, bowed deeply to Li Chunyang. Their eyes were full of excitement and excitement. You have done well. Since we have set up this trap, we might as well make them stay here forever. From today onwards, there will be one less of the 3 heavenly demon primogenitors. Li Chunyang said faintly. Mysterious runes seemed to appear in his eyes, and in an instant, they turned into two streams of yin and yang qi that rushed into the sky, forming a vast and huge boundary that enveloped the entire Chang'an city. Yes, Patriarch. Puji and the other four nodded enthusiastically. Tank Garuda, an incomparably mystical name. Legend has it that Tank Gara was a direct disciple of the three ancient Buddhas. Within the 8 treasures lotus pond of virtue and virtue, he personally established the White Horse Temple lineage. He was the founder of the White Horse Temple, and his strength was unfathomable. But 1,000,000 years ago, Tank Gara fought against the 3 celestial demons. Although he managed to severely injure the 3 celestial demons, he also suffered irreparable injuries and passed away in White Horse Temple. It was only because of Tank Gara's death and the temptation of the karma spirit that the demon spirit progenitor dared to come to White Horse Temple. However, he did not expect that Tankegara was still alive. No. You are not Tankegara at all. Tankegara died 1,000,000 years ago. You are just a sliver of his indestructible power. Old bald donkey, I want to see how you're going to stop me today. I want to bathe White Horse Temple in blood. Floating in the void, the demon spirit progenitor's eyes were incomparably red and filled with crazy killing intent. In an instant, he rushed towards Li Chunyang. You guys go kill the celestial demon remnant. Leave the demon spirit progenitor to me. Li Chunyang said indifferently. The light in his palm was dazzling. In an instant, 36 Buddhist beads shot into the sky like 36 stars, trapping the demon spirit progenitor in the center. Thunder, come. Li Chunyang spat out 2 words. In an instant, golden lightning shot out from the 36 Buddhist prayer beads at the same time. They intertwined with each other and contained an extremely terrifying destructive power. It was as if they were going to turn Li Chunyang into dust. You're just a remnant of psychic power. Tankegara, today, I will scatter your soul. The demon spirit progenitor roared. Black demonic light surged around his body. In an instant, he disappeared from the lightning's lock. Endless demonic power surged and rushed towards Li Chunyang. Bang! Li Chunyang's expression was indifferent. He lightly struck out with his palm. The palm force was silent, but it caused the demon spirit progenitor's expression to change. He had suffered a great loss just now. At this moment, he didn't dare to take it head-on. He immediately shot away. In the domain formed by the 36 Buddhist beads, Li Chunyang and the demon spirit progenitor fought fiercely. Rumble. The sky seemed to shatter as a huge black vortex appeared. Endless demonic light spewed out from it. Incomparably powerful figures descended from the sky. This time, it was as if the celestial demons had all moved out. They vowed to destroy the White Horse Temple and Chang'an city. Together with the 4 celestial demons, they attacked the Chang'an city's defensive array from both inside and outside. The experts of the White Horse Temple and the Imperial City also made their move. It was like 2 violent torrents of black and white. An incomparably fierce collision occurred. At this moment, the pure land formed by the goddess of bliss also broke open. Everyone woke up from their slumber. When they saw the apocalyptic scene in front of them, they immediately trembled. Their faces were filled with incomparable fear. Such a large-scale invasion by the celestial demons was extremely rare in the history of the 8 treasures lotus pond of merit. Not good. Divine light flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes. Suddenly, from the corner of his eyes, he saw the monks of the White Horse Temple protecting the little princess in the distance. They were swept away by the celestial demons. They couldn't resist at all and were instantly turned into nothingness. Seeing that the celestial demons were about to take the little princess away, Ling Xiao immediately turned into a stream of light and rushed over. Blazing lightning rose in his palm as the Lightning Emperor technique exploded. An incomparably fierce power directly shattered the celestial demons. Brother Jia Yi. After seeing Ling Xiao, the little princess's face was filled with incomparable joy. Your Highness, come with me. Ling Xiao directly carried the little princess and rushed into the depths of the White Horse Temple. Ling Xiao, I'm going to die because of you. Zhao Ritian complained as he followed behind Ling Xiao. Blazing flames surrounded his body. He transformed into a three-legged golden crow and attacked the celestial demons that were swarming over. Ling Xiao's rescue of the little princess was like poking a hornet's nest. Instantly, countless celestial demons were attracted to him. Ling Xiao carried the little princess and flew in front. Zhao Ritian was trying his best to fend off the celestial demons behind him. The situation was extremely dangerous. Chapter 1957. Rumble. Demonic light surged in the void as extraterritorial demons whizzed towards them. Their faces were ferocious, and their eyes were filled with bloodlust and cold-killing intent. Zhao Ritian was shrouded in blazing flames, as though he was in the middle of a sun. Endless flames rose, and any extraterritorial demons that approached him were burned to ashes. Zhao Ritian was also going all out. Those extraterritorial demons were crazy and wanted to snatch the little princess away. Among them, there were many extraterritorial demons that were comparable to Ninth Revolution half-saints. Zhao Ritian displayed the Emperor Yen scripture, and every strike contained terrifying power. It protected Ling Xiao and the little princess as they flew towards the scripture depository. Kacha! At this moment, a dazzling thunderbolt came from all directions, exuding a blazing killing intent. At the same time, it was accompanied by a vast Buddhist light that seemed to be able to purify all evil. It formed a huge thunderbolt barrier behind Zhao Ritian, blocking all the extraterritorial demons from entering. The Buddha light exploded, and the terrifying essence power turned all the extraterritorial demons within a radius of 10,000 feet into nothingness. Follow me. The Bliss Heavenly Lady shouted at Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian. Her eyes shone brightly as she was surrounded by Buddhist light. Let's go. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he followed the Goddess of Joy into the depths of the White Horse Temple. The Goddess of Joy's strength was terrifying, and the Buddha light on her had a purifying power. It was a natural restraint against the extraterritorial demons, causing them to be wary. With the addition of the Goddess of Joy, the pressure on Zhao Ritian was greatly reduced. Swoosh! 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 Ling Xiao and the rest retreated as they fought. Soon, they arrived in front of the scripture depository. Boom! At this moment, the supreme sacred array of the scripture depository had been activated. Dazzling runes shrouded the scripture depository, and the terrifying Buddha light was like a raging flame. Any extraterritorial demons that dared to approach the scripture depository disappeared without a trace. The two sages who were guarding the scripture depository were sitting cross-legged in front of the scripture depository. They were activating the supreme sacred array of the scripture depository. Elders, please let us in. The Goddess of Joy shouted at the two sages. Is it the blissful goddess? Good. I will open a door. Hurry up and don't let the extraterrestrial demons rush in. When the two sages saw the blissful goddess, their eyes flashed with surprise. Apparently, the blissful goddess had a very high status, so the two of them attached great importance to her. Crack! One of them, an old monk in white robes, waved his sleeve and a resplendent light spread out. Next, a portal appeared above the magnificent magic array. Led by the Goddess of Joy, Ling Xiao carried the little princess and Zhao Ritian and rushed into the scripture depository. The extraterritorial demons whizzed over and wanted to follow them into the scripture pavilion. However, two beams of bright Buddha's light shot out from the palms of the two sages, instantly piercing through the extraterritorial demons. The Buddha's light was incomparably overbearing and turned into golden flames, turning the extraterritorial demons into ashes. Thank you, elders. The Bliss Goddess said with a faint smile. You're too courteous, holy maiden. There are many disciples of the White Horse Temple on the first and second levels of the scripture depository. Why don't you rest on the third level for the time being? Don't worry, with us around, these demons won't be able to take a single step into the scripture depository. One of the sages said to the Bliss Goddess with a pleasant expression. The Bliss Goddess's status was very high. In the entire blissful sect, she was second only to the Blissful Buddha. Although the two sages of the White Horse Temple were strong, they were still far from the Blissful Buddha. They might have looked down on the Bliss Goddess, but with the Blissful Buddha around, they had to treat her with utmost caution. After all, the Blissful sect was much stronger than the White Horse Temple. No problem. Thank you for your trouble, elders. The Bliss Goddess said with a faint smile. Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian looked at each other. This arrangement was exactly what they wanted. Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian were thinking about how to enter the scripture depository to open the Buddhist treasures. They did not expect the two sages to make such a thoughtful arrangement. Ling Xiao and the other three entered the scripture depository together. As expected, there were over 1,000 people on the first and second floor of the scripture pavilion. They were all disciples of White Horse Temple. Although the attack of the otherworldly demons was very sudden, White Horse Temple still managed to hide most of its disciples here. Ling Xiao and the other three ignored the curious gazes of the White Horse Temple disciples and went straight to the third level of the scripture depository. Rumble. The vast emperor's aura once again came crashing down. The Bliss Goddess did not panic. Buddhist light rose from her body and her aura was ethereal and mysterious. She looked as though she was not affected at all. Although Ling Xiao was carrying the little princess in his arms, the wordless heavenly book in his body could automatically devour and dissolve the emperor's aura. Therefore, he was the most relaxed one. Dazzling light rose from Zhao Ritian's body as he activated the power of the Emperor Yen Cauldron. In an instant, it formed an incomparably strong protective barrier, blocking the emperor's aura from the third level of the scripture depository. The Bliss Goddess's eyes flashed as she smiled. I wanted to help you guys block the emperor's aura here. I didn't expect you guys to have such extraordinary means. You guys even have supreme treasures to protect you. It seems like I worried too much. Miss Xiao you flatter us. We were just lucky. Ling Xiao said with a faint smile. Don't say so much. I'll open the Buddhist treasures first. Hee, those old bald donkeys are too busy taking care of themselves. They definitely won't notice the situation here. I didn't expect the extraterrestrial demons to help us. Otherwise, it wouldn't be so easy for us to open the Buddhist treasures. Zhao Ritian said with a smile. His gaze fell on the 3 generations steel. His eyes were shining with excitement and anticipation. Oh, what kind of Buddhist treasures are they? Could it be related to the 3 generations steel? The Bliss Goddess asked curiously. That's right. This 3-era stone steel is the door to the Buddhist sect's treasure trove. I only learned of this secret by accident. Wait until I open this door, then you will understand. Zhao Ritian said, keeping them in suspense. Buzz. Light flashed in Zhao Ritian's palm. Instantly, a stone Buddha statue appeared. It was only a foot tall and was gray in color. It looked very ordinary. Even the face of the Buddha statue was very blurry and looked very rough. Chapter 1958. Kacha. The stone Buddha statue floated up from Zhao Ritian's palm. Specks of light started to gather around it like tiny lightning bolts. The stone Buddha statue also started to tremble slightly. Boom! At this moment, the 3 ancient monuments were like a storm in the sea. The emperor's aura was getting more and more terrifying. The black light was incomparably blazing, like a huge wave rising up, dissipating the surrounding chaotic mist. The stone Buddha statue floated in front of the 3 ancient monuments. In an instant, the extreme emperor aura in the 3 eras stone tablet started to surge toward the stone Buddha statue. Kacha! A crisp sound was heard. Cracks started to appear on the surface of the stone Buddha statue. The stone layer started to peel off, emitting a dazzling golden light. When all the stone layer had peeled off, the stone Buddha statue turned into a golden Buddha statue. It exuded a blazing Buddha light that was pure and vast, mysterious and unfathomable. The golden Buddha was lifelike as it floated in the chaotic void. It lowered its head and had a faint smile on its face. One of its fingers pointed to the sky while the other pointed to the ground. It exuded an invincible aura of supremacy in the world. What is this golden Buddha statue? How can it withstand such a terrifying extreme emperor aura? Ling Zhao's eyes revealed a trace of shock as he spoke. The extreme emperor aura was the power of a supreme emperor. It was terrifying, and it was not something that could be withstood by any ordinary object. Even the best sacred treasure could not withstand the power of the extreme emperor aura. However, this golden Buddha statue was able to devour the extreme emperor aura in the 3 eras stone tablet without being affected. Could this be a Saraira golden Buddha statue? The bliss goddess shuddered as a look of disbelief appeared in her eyes. Miss Xiao Yu, you're so knowledgeable. Hee, that's right. This is a Saraira golden Buddha statue. Think about it. A paradise world that can be supported by a Saraira golden Buddha statue. What kind of precious treasures would it contain? Just thinking about it makes me look forward to it. Zhao Ritian chuckled. The Saraira golden Buddha was a golden Buddha made from the Saraira of an eminent monk of Buddhism. Moreover, it had to be made from the Saraira of a sage or above. Although the Saraira golden Buddha in front of him was less than a foot tall, it was probably made from hundreds and thousands of Saraira. The Saraira golden Buddha was incomparably sturdy and contained an incomparably mysterious paradise world. Legend had it that ancient Buddhas would seal themselves in the Saraira golden Buddha to prevent their lifespan from running out. The worlds in the Saraira golden Buddha were extremely mysterious and had different functions. Some could freeze time, some had endless life essence, some formed their own world of reincarnation, and some contained the mysteries of life and death and could bring people back to life. However, the cost of creating a Saraira golden Buddha was too great. For so many years, even in Buddhism, very few people had heard of the existence of the Saraira golden Buddha. The blissful goddess did not expect Zhao Ritian to have one. Obviously, the key to opening the Saraira golden Buddha was the 3 generations stone steel. Who the hell is he? The blissful goddess took a deep look at Zhao Ritian and was extremely puzzled. Zhao Ritian's luck is just too good. Ling Xiao smiled bitterly and shook his head. He was very clear about Zhao Ritian's background. He could imagine that the Saraira golden Buddha was an opportunity and treasure that Zhao Ritian had obtained after coming to the divine world. The inheritance of the Yen Emperor, the Extreme Emperor's aura, the Saraira golden Buddha. All these treasures added together made Ling Xiao feel that Zhao Ritian's luck was indeed heaven-defying. Kacha. As the Saraira golden Buddha devoured the Extreme Emperor's aura in the 3 generations stone steel, the light of the Saraira golden Buddha became brighter and brighter. In the end, a crisp sound was heard and the Saraira golden Buddha cracked from the middle. A vast and mysterious light surged and a mysterious door appeared in the middle of the Saraira golden Buddha. It vaguely led to an incomparably vast world. Let's go. Zhao Ritian's eyes flashed as he took the lead and shot into the Tongtian world. Ling Xiao carried the little princess and the blissful goddess and followed closely behind. Rumble. When Ling Xiao and the rest opened their eyes again, they found themselves in a vast and ancient world. In front of them, there was bright light everywhere. Golden clouds shrouded the entire world. It was vast and mysterious. Looking at it vaguely, it seemed as though there were undulating mountains lying dormant on the boundless earth. The golden clouds were holy, ancient, and mysterious. The weapons contained an incomparably vast amount of Buddhist energy. Ling Xiao and the rest were immersed in the warm light. They felt as though they were floating in the air. It was an indescribable comfort. Those aren't mountains. Those are actually golden bodies. Zhao Ritian's eyes flashed with a divine light. Then, he revealed an incomparably shocked expression and could not help but exclaim. Resplendent rays of light blossomed, and golden mist filled the air. In the distance, the incomparably huge mountains slowly revealed themselves in front of Ling Xiao and the rest. They were not mountains, but Buddhist golden bodies that were thousands or even tens of thousands of feet tall. Those golden bodies looked solemn and dignified. They had different expressions and looked lifelike as though they were alive. They were either sitting or standing on the ground in different postures. Their bodies were shining brightly as though they were cast from gold. They contained an incomparably vast amount of energy. At a glance, there were more than thousands of such golden bodies. This scene was too shocking. Even though Zhao Ritian had long known that there were many golden bodies in the cave world of the Sarira Golden Buddha, he was still stunned when he saw what was in front of him. This is unbelievable. Ling Xiao also sighed softly. He was extremely emotional. The power of these golden bodies was incomparably terrifying. They looked so lifelike that even their breathing became extremely careful. It was as though they were afraid of waking up these golden bodies. Generally speaking, after the experts of the Buddhist sects attained the Tao and became bodhisattvas or Buddhas, they would condense the golden bodies of the Buddhist sects. Just like the various powerful sacred bodies of the sages, even if they died in the end, their physical bodies would remain indestructible. The thousands of golden bodies of the Buddhist sects in front of them meant that there were at least thousands of sages of the Buddhist sects. Ling Xiao even had an illusion at that moment. It was as though he had arrived at the burial ground of the Buddhist sects. He was extremely shocked. These golden bodies of the Buddhist sects contained incomparably powerful energy. If the sages of the Buddhist sects were to refine them, they might be able to save thousands of years of hard work and condense their golden bodies directly. Something's not right. There's something wrong with these golden bodies of the Buddhist sects. Chapter 1959. The sight of thousands of golden bodies of Buddha was astounding. Even though the blissful goddess was knowledgeable and had a high status in the blissful sect, she still couldn't believe her eyes when she saw the thousands of golden bodies. Even in the myriad Buddha temple, it was impossible to see so many golden bodies of Buddha sect. However, when she took a closer look at the golden bodies of Buddha, she realized that something was amiss. Wang! Every golden body of Buddha was emitting a dazzling light. The Buddhist light was vast and mysterious. Golden clouds shrouded the area and auspicious vapors rose. Various mysterious visions appeared in the void. However, the blissful goddess felt that although the golden bodies of Buddha were right in front of her, they seemed to be separated by an endless space-time. Something is indeed amiss. They actually contain the power of space-time. Ling Xiao's eyes lit up. He cultivated the time cycle, so he could easily sense the vicissitudes of time on the golden Buddhists in front of him. It was as if countless spaces were folded together, making them look very ethereal and mysterious. Although the golden bodies of Buddha seemed to be within reach, they were separated by layers of space-time. Even if they flew tens of thousands of miles, they might not be able to reach the golden bodies of Buddha. Although these golden bodies of Buddha are located in the hollow world of the relic Golden Buddha, they have been set up by the supreme divine power of an almighty expert. Without a way to activate it, I'm afraid there's no way to obtain these golden bodies of Buddha. The blissful goddess said slowly. After she finished speaking, she looked at Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian. After pondering for a while, she said, however, I have a way that might allow you to obtain a golden body of Buddha. Oh, what is it? Zhao Ritian was a little disappointed at first. However, when he heard the blissful goddess's words, his eyes lit up. Ling Xiao also looked at the blissful goddess curiously. You know that I have the spirit of karma in my body. As long as I transfer the spirit of karma to you, you can use the spirit of karma to sense the golden bodies of Buddha and refine them. The blissful goddess said slowly. The spirit of karma can sense the golden bodies of Buddha. This is a good idea. However, Miss Xiaoyu, don't you intend to refine a golden body of Buddha? Ling Xiao asked curiously. My every move is being monitored by the Mary Buddha. If I use the spirit of karma carelessly, the Mary Buddha will definitely discover it. The bliss goddess said with a wry smile. Miss Xiaoyu, there's one more thing that I'm not sure about. I wonder if you can dispel my doubts. A divine light flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes as he smiled faintly. Oh. What is it? The bliss goddess asked. Just now, when the otherworldly demons invaded, the demon spirit ancestor seemed to have come for the little princess. The demon spirit ancestor said that the little princess also has a karma spirit in her body, but the karma spirit in her body is incomplete. Ling Xiao asked calmly as he looked at the goddess of joy. The little princess also has a karma spirit in her body? This was simply impossible. This was because Puji and Grandmaster Tankegra had used a trace of the spirit of karma in Buddhism to fuse into the little princess's primordial spirit and set up a trap. It's all for the sake of attracting the devil spirit ancestor and killing him in one fell swoop. The bliss goddess said with a faint smile. It turned out that although there were very few people who possessed a karma spirit, Buddhism had accumulated some over the years. This time, in order to set a trap to lure the demon spirit ancestor, Puji's state preceptor had integrated a trace of the karma spirit into the little princess's spirit as bait. Coupled with the fake death of Patriarch Tankegra, the goal was to kill the demon spirit ancestor in one fell swoop. This was also why the devil spirit ancestor's expression changed drastically after tasting a drop of the little princess's blood essence. He shouted that it was not a complete karma spirit. So that's how it is. Ling Xiao nodded and said. If that's the case, I'll transfer the karma spirit to you now. In the process of transferring the karma spirit, I'll definitely alarm the Bliss Buddha. However, there are so many golden bodies of Buddhism. As long as you use the karma spirit to refine a powerful golden body of Buddhism, you might be able to possess the strength of a sage. At that time, even if you aren't a match for the Bliss Buddha, it shouldn't be a problem for us to leave this place safely. The Bliss Goddess said slowly. No problem. May I know how to transfer the karma spirit? Ling Xiao nodded and said. Although he looked calm on the surface, he was already sneering in his heart. At this moment, he was finally sure that there was something wrong with the Bliss Goddess in front of him. Previously, Ling Xiao had almost believed that the Bliss Goddess was Miss Xiaoyu. However, when the devil spirit ancestor caught the little princess and said that there was a karma spirit in the little princess's body, Ling Xiao began to doubt it. Although the Bliss Goddess explained that it was because state preceptor Puji had integrated a trace of the karma spirit into the little princess's body, after careful consideration, it didn't make sense at all. What kind of person was the devil spirit ancestor? He was an existence that was older than the Bliss Buddha. How could he be lured here by a mere karma spirit? In addition, when the Bliss Goddess wanted to transfer the karma spirit to Ling Xiao was keenly aware of the Bliss Goddess's anxiousness. This made him even more suspicious. However, despite his doubts, Ling Xiao remained calm on the surface. It's easy to transfer the karma spirit. Later, you just need to relax your mind and conceal your spirit. I'll force the karma spirit out of my primordial spirit temporarily. After that, you can control your primordial spirit to devour it. The Bliss Goddess said slowly. Ling Xiao, I feel that there's something wrong with this Miss Xiaoyu. If the karma spirit is so important, why would she transfer it to you so easily? Isn't this too hasty? Zhao Ritian suddenly transmitted his voice to Ling Xiao. He was also a little suspicious. You're right. Something is indeed wrong. Now, I have a vague feeling that the Bliss Goddess might not be Miss Xiaoyu. Later, when you're transferring the karma spirit, if you feel that something is wrong, use the Yen Emperor Cauldron and kill her directly. Ling Xiao transmitted his voice to Zhao Ritian. Kill her directly? Hehe, then how are you going to explain it to Master Jiu? Isn't this a little too cruel? Zhao Ritian chuckled. Cut the crap. If she's not Miss Xiaoyu, who do you think she is? If you don't strike first, I'm afraid we'll all die in her hands. Ling Xiao transmitted his voice to Zhao Ritian. Could she be the Bliss Buddha? Chapter 1960. It's highly possible. It's just that I don't know what her intentions are. Later, when we are transferring the spirit of karma, pay attention to her. Ling Xiao transmitted his voice slowly. All right. Zhao Ritian also put away his joking mood and became serious. Ling Xiao and the goddess of joy sat opposite each other with their legs crossed. Both of them exuded a powerful and mysterious aura. I'm going to start. The goddess of joy looked at Ling Xiao calmly and then slowly closed her eyes. Boom! Pure and holy light of Buddha emanated from her body and gathered at her glabella. Her glabella began to emit a dazzling light like a full moon, ethereal and mysterious. Above the full moon, a mysterious figure vaguely emerged. Her posture was graceful and light, and she exuded a powerful spiritual fluctuation. That was the primordial spirit of the goddess of joy. It looked exactly like Xiao Yu. If Ling Xiao did not have his suspicions, he would have thought that it was Xiao Yu's primordial spirit. That origin spirit looked ethereal and clear, floating like an immortal. Inside the origin spirit, there were balls of golden light mixed with some golden lines. They looked like the laws of the great Tao, containing incomparably profound power. That was the spirit of karma. Buzz! The Buddha light around the goddess of joy grew brighter and brighter. All the energy in her body gathered at her glabella. Her primordial spirit also began to emit a vast energy fluctuation, gradually forcing the spirit of karma out of her primordial spirit. Boom! The spirit of karma trembled violently and instantly gathered into a golden ball of light. It looked extremely mysterious, as though it contained a mysterious world, and a mysterious scene of the creation of heaven and earth appeared. Quickly devour the spirit of karma. The goddess of joy is about to discover it. The goddess of joy suddenly said anxiously. All right. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. In an instant, he urged the primordial spirit in his sea of consciousness to devour the spirit of karma. Boom! It was like swallowing a sun. Ling Xiao's soul felt an incomparably hot power, followed by a warm feeling. It was indescribably comfortable. His soul actually began to grow. Although Ling Xiao's body was formed from his heart force avatar, it still contained a trace of his Yuan spirit. After devouring the karma spirit, Ling Xiao discovered that his Yuan spirit had begun to grow rapidly. It was as though a resplendent sun had begun to burn fiercely. Vaguely, Ling Xiao could sense that the Yuan spirit in his body on Pill Talisman Mountain was also experiencing an incomparably wondrous reaction across space and time. The power of the karma spirit was actually able to follow the trace of his natal primordial spirit and spread towards the primordial spirit in the body on Pill Talisman Mountain. Something's not right. Ling Xiao's heart skipped a beat. He saw that although the spirit of karma had been devoured by his Yuan spirit, it had not been completely refined. Instead, it was like a flower, parasitizing his Yuan spirit and absorbing the power of his Yuan spirit to strengthen itself. Whoosh! Whoosh! At the same time, before Ling Xiao could continue to devour the spirit of karma, two more spirits of karma flew into Ling Xiao's primordial spirit and began to absorb the power of Ling Xiao's primordial spirit. No! This is not the spirit of karma. You are not Miss Xiao Yu. Who are you? Ling Xiao's face revealed an incomparably panicked expression as he began to roar angrily. Ha ha ha! How foolish! I didn't expect you to only realize it now. What a delicious primordial spirit! It actually contains such pure power. It's 1,000 times, no, 10,000 times stronger than the primordial spirits of those trash. Sure enough, my efforts were not in vain. The goddess of joy's face instantly became indifferent as she stared at Ling Xiao and spoke slowly. She stood up and looked down at Ling Xiao. Her expression was incomparably cold, as though she was looking down at an ant. She had an air of superiority. Ling Xiao's current state did not look good. In his primordial spirit, 3 golden balls of light had turned into 3 dazzling great Tao divine flowers. They had taken root in his primordial spirit and were absorbing and devouring the power of his primordial spirit. His primordial spirit was weakening at a speed visible to the naked eye. More importantly, in Pill Talisman Mountain, 3 golden balls of light had appeared in Ling Xiao's primordial spirit and were devouring the power of his primordial spirit. You are not Miss Xiao Yu. You are, the goddess of joy. Ling Xiao stared at the celestial of joy and said, his eyes filled with horror. However, this kind of fear was only an act by Ling Xiao. His heart was filled with cold laughter and killing intent. When Zhao Ritian saw the changes in Ling Zhao's body, he was even prepared to use the Emperor Yen cauldron to kill the Goddess of Joy. However, the Goddess of Joy merely glanced at Zhao Ritian and said, "I advise you not to act rashly. I know you have a supreme treasure in your body. However, in front of me, if you dare to show any disrespect, I don't mind sending you to the afterlife." "Zhao Ritian, hold on." Ling Xiao suddenly pulled Zhao Ritian back and did not allow him to take action. "Do you think I'm afraid of you? Let him go obediently. Otherwise, even if you are the Goddess of Joy, I will kill you." Zhao Ritian stared at the Goddess of Joy and said with a trace of frenzied killing intent in his eyes, "An ant will always be an ant." The Goddess of Joy looked at Zhao Ritian indifferently. Then, her gaze landed on Ling Zhao's primordial spirit and was filled with anticipation. "Your primordial spirit is indeed one in a million. With the nourishment of your primordial spirit, the spirit of karma will be able to break free from Xiao Yu's shackles and be refined by me. As food and nourishment, it will be your honor. You will be fortunate enough to witness the birth of a supreme great emperor and the arrival of a great era. Even if you die, it will be a glorious death." The Goddess of Joy said slowly with a fanatical look in her eyes. Rumble. The 3 golden great Tao immortal flowers in Ling Zhao's primordial spirit looked even more mysterious. They were shrouded in golden mist, and as they devoured Ling Zhao's primordial spirit, golden fruits were growing in the stamens of the flowers. An incomparably mysterious energy was emitted from the flowers, causing the surrounding void to vibrate violently. "You are indeed the Goddess of Joy. However, do you really think that everything is under your control?" The panicked look on Ling Zhao's face suddenly disappeared and was replaced with incomparable calmness. His eyes were incomparably deep and there was a trace of mockery at the corner of his mouth. Chapter 1961. The Goddess of Joy narrowed her eyes as she felt that something was amiss. The spirit of karma was already devouring Ling Zhao's primordial spirit. Ling Xiao was about to turn into nourishment for the spirit of karma, but his expression was too calm. It was not fearlessness in the face of death, but absolute confidence and calmness. If something was out of the ordinary, then it must be a demon. The blissful goddess instantly became extremely vigilant. "Brat, you are about to die, and you still dare to play tricks? In that case, don't blame me for being impolite. You'd better die obediently." The Goddess of Joy stared at Ling Xiao and said indifferently. The killing intent in her eyes seemed to have materialized. Rumble. The 3 great Wei immortal flowers were dazzling and radiant with Buddha's light. A powerful devouring force was emitted and it was about to devour the rest of Ling Zhao's primordial spirit. "Goddess of Joy, since you are willing to give me the spirit of karma, it would be impolite of me to refuse," Ling Xiao said calmly. Rumble. His primordial spirit was already extremely weak, but at this moment, it seemed as though there was golden lightning blooming from it. In an instant, it turned into a powerful and vast devouring vortex. The heaven-devouring secret skill had exploded. Moreover, even the wordless heavenly book seemed to be very interested in the spirit of karma and it sent out a strong wave of desire. Ling Xiao knew that the Goddess of Joy in front of him was the Goddess of Joy, and he guessed that she was a primordial spirit avatar of the Goddess of Joy. Naturally, he was extremely cautious and did not dare to expose the existence of the wordless heavenly book. He hid the wordless heavenly book in the deepest part of his primordial spirit and used the heaven-devouring secret skill to devour the spirit of karma. With the support of the wordless heavenly book, Ling Zhao's heaven-devouring secret skill exploded mightily. It was like a supreme fierce beast that had devoured the sky and the sun in antiquity times, exuding a terrifying power. The 3 great Wei immortal flowers trembled violently and the vast power in them started to flow back to Ling Zhao's primordial spirit. "What? You are merely a sage to be. How can you shake the spirit of karma? I will kill you." The Goddess of Joy's eyes revealed a trace of disbelief. Her face instantly became extremely ugly and she revealed a crazy killing intent. Rumble. She slammed her palm toward Ling Zhao's chest. The palm print was powerful and heavy, and golden Buddhist light permeated the air. It contained an extremely terrifying purifying power, as if it was going to turn Ling Xiao into nothingness. Joyful Buddha, your opponent is me. Zhao Ritian and Ling Xiao were telepathically connected. Knowing that Ling Xiao was trying to counter Mankasvara and devour the 3 karma spirits, Zhao Ritian made his move without hesitation. Rumble. He punched out toward the joyful heavenly maiden. The dazzling fist imprint was like a rising sun, exuding boundless light and heat. It was domineering and powerful. Bang! When the fist and palm collided, a loud thud was heard. The flames on Zhao Ritian's fist were constantly being purified by the Buddhist light. Even the power of the punch was greatly reduced. In the end, Zhao Ritian's body trembled and he was sent flying. You all deserve to die. The eyes of the goddess of joy were cold and murderous. She could feel that the great Tao immortal flower formed by the 3 karma spirits had lost its connection with her. Moreover, its power was getting weaker and weaker, as if it would be devoured by Ling Xiao at any time. The goddess of joy was infuriated. With a flash of light in her hand, a 9-foot-long Buddhist commandment blade appeared. It was sparkling and translucent, containing an extremely terrifying murderous aura. Swoosh! 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 When the goddess of joy held the Buddhist commandment blade in her hand, her aura surged. She slashed 3 times consecutively at Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian. Each slash had the power to destroy heaven and earth, as if it could split the heavens and earth apart. Joyful Buddha, you are just a mere primordial spirit avatar. How dare you behave so atrociously in front of me, Zhao Ritian? You must be tired of living. Zhao Ritian sneered. Suddenly, an extremely strong battle intent rose from his body. Buzz! In the center of his palm, flames burned fiercely. It was like a world of fire, with radiant suns everywhere. A red elixir cauldron spun, exuding an ancient and mysterious aura. It was extremely heavy, as if it could suppress everything. An extremely powerful emperor's aura erupted from the Yen Emperor cauldron. In an instant, it swept across the void, causing the overlapping spacetime and time to vibrate violently. The Yen Emperor cauldron had appeared. Rumble. The Yen Emperor cauldron expanded in the void, surrounded by blazing flames. Runes rose, turning into the shadows of the Fire Phoenix, Fire Qilin, Fire Divine Dragon, 3-legged Golden Crow, and other divine beasts, making the Yen Emperor cauldron even more mysterious. The 3 destructive blade lights were blocked by the Yen Emperor cauldron. The sea of flames swept across and turned into nothingness. The Yen Emperor cauldron came rumbling across the sky, pressing down on the goddess of joy. This is an extreme emperor weapon. The goddess of joy was completely stunned, her eyes filled with disbelief. Previously, she had thought that Zhao Ritian could withstand the extreme emperor's aura of the 3 generations stone tablet because of the Saraira Golden Buddha. She had not expected Zhao Ritian to have an extreme emperor weapon. This was the weapon of a supreme emperor, which could suppress the fate of an immortal sanctuary. If I can get my hands on this extreme emperor weapon, I might be able to fight for the position of the Buddha. A thought came to the goddess of joy's mind. In an instant, she couldn't help but tremble all over. Her eyes were filled with incomparable excitement and fervor. She must get her hands on this extreme emperor weapon, no matter the cost. Kacha! The goddess of joy gave up on resisting. A pink light flashed between her eyebrows. In an instant, a fat monk with big ears and a smiling face appeared in the void. He looked a little illusory and exuded a strong mental strength fluctuation. This monk was the goddess of joy. Facing the Yen Emperor cauldron, the goddess of joy did not resist as she knew that with her current strength, she was no match for the Yen Emperor cauldron. Swoosh! The goddess of joy glared at Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian. In an instant, her body flashed and she was about to fly out. Trying to leave. Not so fast. Cold light flashed across Zhao Ritian's eyes. Instantly, the Yen Emperor Cauldron emitted blazing flames in the void, splitting into thousands of rays and sealing the surrounding void. The goddess of joy, who had hidden in the void, was forced out in an instant. Rumble. The Yen Emperor Cauldron floated above the goddess of joy's head. Flaming divine beasts appeared around the goddess of joy. The runes gathered to form a flaming boundary, enveloping the goddess of joy. Chapter 1962. When Zhao Ritian took out the Flame Emperor Cauldron, Joyful Buddha knew that his primordial spirit avatar would not be able to survive. After all, even a sage would not be able to withstand the terrifying Emperor's aura. Although Zhao Ritian could only unleash 1/10,000th of the Flame Emperor Cauldron's power, it was enough to kill his primordial spirit avatar. However, he was not worried at all. Especially when he saw that Zhao Ritian had an extreme Tao Emperor weapon in his hand, he was even more determined to obtain it. Old bald donkey, go to hell. Zhao Ritian's eyes were filled with killing intent. He was about to drive the Flame Emperor Cauldron to kill the primordial spirit avatar. Hold on. Ling Xiao suddenly lifted his head and stopped Zhao Ritian. There was a strange light in his eyes. It's too easy to kill him. Why don't I try and see if the spirit of karma can devour his primordial spirit? Hearing Ling Xiao's words, Joyful Buddha's face turned cold. He stared at Ling Xiao and said, "Lad, I'll leave the 3 spirits of karma with you for the time being. I'll come and get them myself. Also, I want this emperor weapon. You want to devour my primordial spirit? Dream on." Rumble. As soon as the Buddha of Joy finished his words, a black flame ignited around him. It looked mysterious, but his body burned in the flame in an instant. Then, he turned into a rain of light and dissipated. Joyful Buddha would rather destroy his primordial spirit avatar than let Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian take advantage of him. This old bald donkey is too easy, Zhao Ritian said gloomily. After all, Joyful Buddha was a king sage. Although his primordial spirit avatar was no match for the Flame Emperor Cauldron, he had chosen to commit suicide before Zhao Ritian. There was nothing Zhao Ritian and Ling Xiao could do. If what he said is true and Joyful Buddha's real body is in the 8 treasures lotus pond of merits, I'm afraid we're going to be in trouble. Let's wake Xiao Yu up and get out of here as soon as possible. There was a trace of worry in Ling Xiao's eyes. After refining the 3 spirits of karma, he finally understood the cause of the matter. It turned out that the body of the goddess of joy was occupied by the avatar of the Buddha of joy, while Xiaoya's soul was sealed in the little princess. This was why the devil spirit ancestor could detect the spirits of karma from the little princess. The spirit of karma was bestowed by heaven and earth. Even though the Buddha of joy was a saint king expert, it was still difficult for him to devour the spirit of karma. On one hand, he used the identity of the goddess of joy to create the nirvana world to steal everyone's life origin. On the other hand, he sealed Xiao Yu's soul in the little princess's body. He wanted to use a secret method to separate Xiao Yu's soul from the spirit of karma. This process was very difficult, so the Buddha of joy did it secretly. However, Ling Xiao wasn't sure if the Buddha of joy had other motives. At this moment, he had no time to think too much. He placed the unconscious goddess of joy and the little princess together. Then, he activated the 3 spirits of karma that he had devoured and fused them into the little princess's glabella. Wang! Suddenly, a dazzling light shone from the little princess's glabella. The 3 spirits of karma were extremely intelligent and seemed to be able to devour everything. At this moment, they exuded waves of excitement as though they had sensed their master. Swoosh! 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 The 3 spirits of karma shot into the glabella of Xiaoya. Then, an illusory female primordial spirit slowly emerged from the glabella of the little princess. Then, it turned into a stream of light and fused into the body of the goddess of joy. The goddess of joy slowly opened her eyes. Her gaze was calm and indifferent, but it was filled with endless emotions. I'm Xiaoya. Thank you for saving my life. The goddess of joy bowed deeply to Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian. Although Xiaoya's primordial spirit was sealed in the little princess's body, it didn't block her perception of the outside world. Therefore, Xiaoya knew everything that had happened during this period. It was just that she couldn't tell Ling Xiao. "Miss Xiaoya, you're too courteous. We were entrusted by someone." Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian looked at each other and smiled. They finally felt relieved. They had finally helped Master Jiu find Miss Xiaoyu. They had fulfilled the fate of this unfortunate couple. "How did you know that Xiaoya's primordial spirit was in the little princess's body?" Zhao Ritian's eyes were filled with curiosity. "I guessed it," Ling Xiao said with a smile. Ling Xiao's perception was extremely strong, especially the incomplete secret skill of fate and secret skill of karma. It was as though he could see some things in the unseen world. In addition, after devouring the 3 spirits of karma, Ling Xiao could sense that Xiaoya's primordial spirit was in the little princess's body. In fact, the spirits of karma were Xiaoya's soul. It was impossible to transfer the spirits of karma, as the goddess of joy had said. Even if Xiaoya died, it would be difficult to succeed. In the depths of the White Horse Temple, in an ancient palace, Yuan Xian of the Blissful sect was sitting cross-legged in the palace. His body was surrounded by dazzling Buddhist light. Sounds of Sanskrit chants could be heard, causing many mysterious phenomena to appear around him. At this moment, Yuan Xian could not help but tremble. In an instant, a terrifying aura exploded from his body. "You stole my spirits of karma and destroyed my primordial spirit avatar. You all deserve to die. This time, whether it's the spirits of karma or the Supreme Emperor weapon, I want them all." Yuan Xian's eyes were filled with killing intent. His face was cold and filled with vicissitudes of life and sharpness. Crack! Yuan Xian stood up from the palace. Instantly, a terrifying sage aura filled the air. Like a wave, it shattered the palace. Yuan Xian's eyes were filled with killing intent as he walked toward the scripture depository. In the hollow world, Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian had already awakened Xiaoya and the little princess. Although the seal on Xiaoyu's soul had been released from the little princess's body, the little princess didn't seem to have heard anything. Instead, she stared at the golden bodies with curiosity in her eyes, constantly sizing them up. "Miss Xiaoya, we'll bring you out of here now," Ling Xiao said to Xiaoya. Xiaoya looked at the golden Buddhas in the distance with a strange look in her eyes. She said, "Benefactors, the Buddha of joy has great magical powers and monstrous strength. If you go out like this, you will definitely lose your lives. Perhaps, these golden bodies can save our lives." "Oh. Miss Xiaoya, what do you mean?" Zhao Ritian asked curiously. Chapter 1963. These golden bodies of Buddha should have been left behind by the Buddhas of the ancient times. They contain the supreme power of the Buddhas. If we can refine them and use the remaining power of the Buddhas, we should be able to unleash the power of a sage for a short period of time. If each of you refine a golden body of Buddha, you should be able to protect us and kill our way out. Xiaoya stared at the thousands of golden bodies of Buddha and said slowly. "Refine the golden bodies of Buddha." "Miss Xiaoya, although these golden bodies of Buddha are right in front of us, they are separated by endless time and space. Even if we can refine them, I'm afraid it will take us a long time to establish a connection with them." Ling Xiao shook his head and said. He did not have much hope in this. "My 2 benefactors, you have entered the tiger's den to save me. I have nothing to repay you with, so I'll use 2 golden bodies of Buddha to repay you. Later, both of you can sense these golden bodies of Buddha. If you can establish a connection with one golden body of Buddha, I'll draw it out from time and space for you." Xiaoya smiled faintly. With a wave of her slender hand, a dazzling rain of light flew out from her palm and flew towards the golden bodies of Buddha. Between Xiaoya's eyebrows, a brilliant light blossomed. Circles of light spread out and spread towards the surrounding void. "Spirit of karma." Ling Zhao's eyes flickered. He immediately realized that Xiaoya was using the spirit of karma to sense the golden bodies of Buddha. He did not expect the spirit of karma to have such a wonderful use. Strands of silk spread out and silently fused into the bodies of the thousands of golden bodies of the Buddhist sect across the endless space and time. The power of karma ignored time and space. Even if it was at the end of the world, it could see through everything in an instant. Moreover, it was indestructible. Instantly, Ling Xiao saw thousands of golden bodies of Buddhists appearing from the chaos. Every golden body of Buddha was lifelike. They were thousands of feet tall and even tens of thousands of feet tall. Their bodies seemed to be cast from gold and contained an extremely powerful Buddhist power. All of them lowered their heads and smiled faintly. Their postures were different and contained an extremely mysterious energy fluctuation. Hurry up and choose your golden bodies of Buddha. Xiao Yu's anxious voice entered Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian's ears. Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian's hearts skipped a beat. They knew that this was a huge burden for Xiaoye. He immediately reined in his emotions, and his powerful heart force spread out as he began to choose the Buddhist golden body before him. Generally speaking, the larger the Buddhist golden body, the stronger the aura on its body. Naturally, the higher the quality of the golden body, which meant that it was a golden body left behind by a supreme expert. However, this was not absolute. After all, everyone cultivated different secret techniques. Even if it was the powerful golden body of Buddha, with Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian's current cultivation, it might not be that easy for them to refine it. Therefore, it was best if it was suitable for him. Ling Xiao's heart force gushed forth as he observed the golden bodies. Some of the golden bodies were like blazing flames, like Mahavarakana, emitting boundless light and heat. Some of the golden bodies were filled with sharpness, radiating sword chi that seemed capable of piercing through the sky. The auras of these Buddhist golden bodies seemed to be more or less the same. Since that's the case, I'll just randomly pick one. Ling Xiao thought to himself. He could not see anything special about the thousands of Buddhist golden bodies, and he could not help but feel a little disappointed. Buzz! Suddenly, the wordless heavenly book in his sea of consciousness trembled slightly, and a ray of light appeared, pointing in the direction of the thousands of Buddhist golden bodies. Ling Xiao followed the wave and saw that there was an inconspicuous golden body among the few Buddhist golden bodies. It was dark gold in color, and it was only a few hundred feet tall. Its aura was faint, and it was easy to overlook it. No matter how one looked at it, this Buddhist golden body was too ordinary. At first glance, Ling Xiao could not see anything special about it. However, the wave of the wordless heavenly book made Ling Xiao realize that this Buddhist golden body was extraordinary. This energy wave. It's a secret technique from the wordless heavenly book. Could it be that this Buddhist golden body has cultivated the secret technique of karma? Suddenly, Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He felt an aura from this Buddhist golden body that was of the same origin as the wordless heavenly book. Instantly, he felt a rush of excitement. If this Buddhist golden body had cultivated the secret technique of karma in its previous life, perhaps Ling Xiao would be able to obtain the complete secret technique of karma from it. Ling Xiao immediately made up his mind to choose this Buddhist golden body. Zhao Ritian also chose a Buddhist golden body very quickly. However, this guy was very showy. He chose the tallest Buddhist golden body, which was more than 10,000 feet tall. Its entire body emitted a golden light, as if it was burning brightly like the sun. It was dazzling. That Buddhist golden body should have cultivated the flame divine powers in its previous life. Therefore, after its death, the golden body would emit such a mysterious phenomenon. Get ready to refine the Buddhist golden body. Seeing that Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian had both chosen the Buddhist golden body, Xiaoye's eyes flashed with 9 different colors. In an instant, she stretched out her hands and grabbed at the chaotic void. Rumble. Strands of karma intertwined and finally converged on the 2 Buddhist golden bodies. Then, Xiaoye grabbed them in her palm and abruptly lifted them up. Instantly, primal chaos rose and the void trembled. 2 incomparably terrifying auras descended. There were 2 Buddhist golden bodies. One of them was 100 feet tall, and its entire body was dark gold. Its face looked a little blurry. The other one was 10,000 feet tall, and its entire body was golden. It was filled with flames and its aura was extremely terrifying. Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian immediately sat down with their legs crossed and prepared to refine the two Buddhist golden bodies. Wang! The void trembled slightly. Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian's primordial spirits flashed and were about to shoot towards the Buddhist golden bodies. The Buddhist golden bodies were the remains of the Buddhist Vedanta after his death. Although the primordial spirits had long dissipated, it still retained a portion of its power. Such a Buddhist golden body was a powerful holy treasure. However, it was not an easy task to completely refine it. Ling Zhao's primordial spirit wanted to enter the golden body's sea of consciousness. Immediately, he felt a strong rejection. His expression was calm and indifferent. The aura around him was ethereal and mysterious. Rays of Buddhist light spread out. Ling Xiao immediately used the incomplete secret skill of karma. Instantly, a mysterious connection was formed between him and the Buddhist golden body. The mysterious chanting of sutras could be heard. The surrounding void trembled slightly. Ling Zhao's primordial spirit was no longer obstructed and directly entered the golden body's sea of consciousness. Rumble. Chapter 1964. A warm glow enveloped Ling Zhao's primordial spirit. He could see that in the sea of consciousness of the golden body, there seemed to be an illusory figure. It looked like some kind of imprint, mysterious and unfathomable. You're here. An ancient and vicissitude voice reverberated in the void. You recognize me? Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he looked at that ancient figure and asked. However, that figure was extremely blurry. He could only vaguely see that it was an old monk, but his face couldn't be seen clearly. I recognize you, but you don't recognize me. However, the karma between us has long been determined. This golden body of the Karma Buddha is left for you. That voice said calmly. The golden body of the Karma Buddha? Who is the Karma Buddha? Ling Xiao asked doubtfully. This name was unfamiliar to him. The Karma Buddha was a member of the ancient Buddhist sect. It was said that he was the person closest to the three ancient Buddhas. He was only half a step away from attaining the Tao and becoming an emperor. His golden body is destined to be left for you. That figure said. Ling Zhao's eyes revealed a trace of surprise. The person closest to the three ancient Buddhas? Where is this Karma Buddha now? Why did he leave his golden body for me? And who are you? Ling Zhao's heart was filled with doubts as he asked three questions in an instant. The Karma Buddha had long disappeared in the ancient war. This golden body is the last trace of him in this world. As for why he left his golden body for you, to be exact, he left his golden body for the owner of the wordless heavenly book. As for me, I'm merely an imprint for the Karma Buddha. After completing my mission, it's time for me to disappear as well. That figure said slowly. As expected, his figure began to dim as though he was transforming into Tao, emitting a strange glow. Karma Buddha. Karma Buddha. What he cultivated was the secret art of karma. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he suddenly asked. That's right. The Karma Buddha had attained Tao through the secret art of karma. However, his success was due to the secret art of karma, and his failure was also due to the secret art of karma. Little brat, let me remind you. The wordless heavenly book is both a blessing and a curse. You can use it, but you can't trust it. Remember it. As soon as the figure finished speaking, it was as if a bolt of lightning had shot out from his body, and he disappeared completely in front of Ling Xiao. Ling Zhao's primordial spirit had also completely occupied the golden body's sea of consciousness. Without any hindrance, he refined the golden body as if it was his own body. Is it a blessing or a curse? Could it be used but not trusted? Why were his words so similar to the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain? Could it be that the wordless heavenly book is really an ominous item? Ling Xiao frowned slightly. He still had many doubts in his heart, but unfortunately, that figure disappeared too quickly. Especially after saying the last sentence, it was as if he had touched some kind of taboo and disappeared completely. Ling Xiao recalled that the emperor of Kunwa Mountain had once said the same thing to him. However, he had also suggested a solution, which was to collect the 12 sky arts before becoming a saint. However, from the looks of it now, how difficult would it be to collect the 12 sky arts? This was an almost impossible task. I can only collect the 12 heavenly arts as soon as possible. Perhaps the secret art of karma can be found on this golden body. Ling Xiao thought in his heart. Rumble. The golden body of the Karma Buddha emitted a vast and ancient aura. Ling Xiao's body had completely fused with the Karma Buddha. Without any hindrance, he had completely gained control of the golden body of the Karma Buddha. An incomparably strong feeling of power surged into his heart, causing his body to tremble violently. With a slight clench of his fist, the void trembled as though he could tear it apart easily. At the same time, Ling Xiao could feel that the heavens and earth around him had become so clear. He was like a fish in the sea, as though he could borrow the power of the heavens and earth to suppress everything. The power of a saint. This was definitely the power of a saint. A saint is indeed too strong. However, it's a pity that the remaining power in the golden body of the Karma Buddha is only enough for me to fight with my full strength. Ling Xiao thought in his heart as a look of regret appeared in his eyes. You refined the golden body of the Buddha so quickly? Xiaoye's astonished voice traveled into Ling Xiao's ears. In just a short period of time, Ling Xiao had completely refined the golden body of the Buddha. Even Xiaoye found it hard to believe. This golden body of the Buddha seems to be extremely compatible with my body. I was just lucky. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. As for Zhao Ritian, he was still bitterly refining the golden body of the Buddha. Ling Xiao could feel that Zhao Ritian was using all his strength. The power of the Emperor Yen Cauldron was surging within the golden body of the Buddha. It was erasing the imprints of the golden body of the Buddha so that Zhao Ritian could refine it without any hindrance. Rumble. The golden body of the Buddha exuded a terrifying aura. In an instant, endless flames rose up, as though they could burn everything into nothingness. The golden Buddha body that was over 10,000 feet tall slowly opened its eyes. Two beams of incomparably excited light shot out from its eyes. Ha ha ha. Ling Xiao, take my punch. Zhao Ritian laughed loudly. He glanced at the golden body of the Karma Buddha beside him and threw a punch at Ling Xiao. Do you think I'm afraid of you? Ling Xiao smiled faintly and threw out a punch as well. The golden body of the Buddha and the golden body of the Buddha clashed. One was bigger than the other, but the power that they exuded was equally terrifying. The blazing fist print was released, as though a sun had exploded in the void. Boundless light gushed out as the flames burned fiercely. Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian's bodies shook violently as they were sent flying backward. This punch was evenly matched. Ling Xiao, what kind of golden body did you choose? It can actually go against my Vairocana golden body. Zhao Ritian's eyes revealed a hint of surprise. The Vairocana golden body of the Buddha that he had chosen had an extraordinary origin. It was said that it was left behind by the Vairocana Buddha. The Vairocana Buddha had an extraordinary relationship with one of the three ancient Buddhas, the Tathagata Buddha. This made the golden body of the Buddha even more mysterious. However, Zhao Ritian did not feel any emperor's aura from the Vairocana golden body of the Buddha. It must be the golden body of a sage, so he did not mind. However, he believed that the Vairocana golden body of the Buddha was the strongest among all the golden bodies of the Buddha. This golden body of mine was left behind by the Karma Buddha. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. He did not hide the origin of the golden body and slowly explained it to Zhao Ritian. Karma Buddha. That sounds pretty impressive. I didn't expect your luck to be as good as mine. Zhao Ritian said with jealousy. Benefactors, it seems like it won't be easy for us to leave this place. The Buddha of Joy has already arrived at the scripture depository. Chapter 1965. On the third level of the Sutra Depository, the space where the 3 eras stone tablet was located was originally a mysterious heart realm. It contained an extremely majestic emperor's aura. Even the 2 sages guarding the Sutra Depository could not see through it. At this moment, Yuan Chen was standing on the third level of the Sutra Depository, looking at the 3 eras stone tablet in front of him. His eyes were filled with killing intent. Yuan Chen was no longer the disciple of the Blissful sect, but the Joyful Buddha. Although the Joyful Buddha's original body did not enter the 8 treasures lotus pond of merit, the sage avatar that he sent possessed 30% of his original body's strength. Although it was only 30% of his original strength, it was enough to kill a sage and injure a supreme sage expert. The Joyful Buddha's many years of planning had gone down the drain. His killing intent towards Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian had reached its boiling point. He knew that Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian would definitely come out from the space of the relic Golden Buddha. That was why he waited here to kill Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian so that he could snatch back the karma spirit that belonged to him. Kacha! Suddenly, the door of the relic Golden Buddha in the void opened again. Dazzling divine light shot out from it as Ling Xiao, Zhao Ritian, and Xiao Yu flew out with the little princess in his arms. Although there were thousands of golden bodies in the space of the relic Golden Buddha, it was already a great fortune for Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian to be able to obtain 2 golden bodies. It was impossible for them to obtain all of the golden bodies. However, the Joyful Buddha had already blocked their way in the short time that they had spent refining the golden bodies. You are finally out. The Joyful Buddha's chubby face seemed to be full of smiles, but his eyes were filled with killing intent as he stared at Ling Xiao and the other 3. Boom! A vast and terrifying sage aura exuded from the Joyful Buddha's body as though it could crush everything. It locked onto Ling Xiao and the other 3, as though it was going to explode at any time. Joyful Buddha, you old bald donkey, how dare you find trouble with us? Is it not enough that we have destroyed one of your primordial spirit avatars? Do you still want to die? Zhao Ritian glanced at the Joyful Buddha and sneered. Both Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian had refined a golden body. However, in order to make the Joyful Buddha lower his guard, they kept their golden bodies and showed their true faces. They wanted to make the Joyful Buddha lower his guard so that he could deal a fatal blow. Therefore, even though Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian looked calm on the surface, they were secretly accumulating their strength, ready to strike at any time. Mandapa Buddha, the spirit of karma belongs to Xiao Yu. She is not destined to be with you. You are the leader of a sect, yet you have committed the 3 precepts of greed, anger, and foolishness. Could it be that you still don't know how to repent? Ling Xiao stared at the Buddha of joy and said calmly. Trying to show off your dharma in front of me? The spirit of karma originally belonged to me, and now it includes your lives. I know you won't give up, so I'm too lazy to talk to you. Hand over the karma spirit and the extreme Tao monarch weapon and you can all die. The Buddha of joy said with a faint smile. The killing intent in her eyes was extremely strong at this moment. Rumble. The terrifying saint aura around him pressed down on Ling Xiao and the other 3. At the same time, he stretched out his hands and pierced through the void like the claws of a real dragon. His speed was extremely fast as he grabbed at Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian's heads. Obviously, the Buddha of joy did not want to face the Yen Emperor Cauldron directly. Therefore, she chose to strike first to gain the upper hand. If it was an ordinary sage to be, even a 9th revolution sage to be, they would not be able to dodge this attack and would be killed instantly. However, Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian were different. The 2 of them had long been on guard against the Buddha of joy. At this moment, when they saw the Buddha of joy attacking, they attacked at the same time. Rumble. Blazing Buddhist light gushed out from Ling Xiao's body, and a dark golden light flowed around his body. His entire body instantly swelled up, and he became over 300 meters tall. His entire body was filled with explosive strength, and then he punched out. Ling Xiao's fist print was extremely fierce. The strength of this golden body was far beyond his original body. Therefore, when he used the Karma Buddha golden body to perform the Peerless Emperor fist, it seemed to be able to traverse the heavens and myriad worlds. In an instant, it sealed the hand of the Buddha of Joy and collided with it violently. Kacha! Blazing light burst out as Ling Xiao blocked the attack of the Buddha of Joy. Although he was pushed back, his body reversed at an incredible angle and charged at the Buddha of Joy at an even faster speed. What? You have refined a golden body. The Buddha of Joy's eyes revealed a trace of surprise. She immediately recognized that this was a Buddhist golden body. Otherwise, it would not have such pure and powerful Buddhist power. Moreover, the power of the Karma Buddha golden body made the Buddha of Joy secretly shocked. She vaguely felt that she could not control it. Boom! Zhao Ritian's body was shrouded in endless flames. Suddenly, his body expanded to a height of 10,000 feet. His entire body was covered with dazzling golden light. The flames burned the heavens and the earth. An ancient and mysterious giant cauldron appeared between his hands and pressed down on the Buddha of Joy. Old bald donkey, go to hell! Zhao Ritian shouted excitedly. His attack was extremely tricky. After the collision between Ling Xiao and the Buddha of Joy, he immediately manifested the Vairocana golden body and activated the Emperor Yen cauldron with the Vairocana golden body. Immediately, a vast and mighty emperor aura erupted from the cauldron. The peerless sharpness seemed to be able to annihilate the entire world. Oh no! The Buddha of Joy felt a terrifying sense of danger approaching and immediately retreated without hesitation. After guessing that Zhao Ritian might have refined the Buddhist golden body, the Buddha of Joy knew that she was in trouble. The Buddhist golden body was not terrifying. However, when the Buddhist golden body was used to activate an emperor weapon, its power was enough to destroy everything. Even the Buddha of Joy did not dare to face it head-on. The Buddha of Joy's hands moved at lightning speed. In an instant, 108 golden runes were shot out. Together with a dark golden ruler, they gave off a terrifying divine aura as they charged towards the Yen Emperor Cauldron. Rumble! The Yen Emperor Cauldron descended. It was surrounded by blazing flames as though suns were emerging. A mysterious scene shrouded the heavens and the earth. The invincible aura was enough to destroy everything. The 108 talismans that Mandapa Buddha had laid down were the Infinite Sand Talisman Formation, one of the most powerful talismans in the Buddhism sect. It contained powerful defensive power. The ferrule was a supreme treasure that he had obtained. It was rumored to be a fragment of an imperial weapon. However, under the invincible power of the Yen Emperor Cauldron, the 108 golden runes exploded. Even the ruler was sent flying by the Yen Emperor Cauldron. Chapter 1966. Puff. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor, Endless Fantasy Translation. The merry Buddha spat out a mouthful of blood. The void shook and he split into thousands of clones. A mysterious space law descended and his aura disappeared. Kacha. The Flame Emperor Cauldron collided with the void, causing the void to shake violently. Cracks appeared in the void and black space turbulence appeared. It was extremely violent. The merry Buddha's body flashed and reappeared on the spot. However, his aura seemed to be a little chaotic. His eyes were filled with cold killing intent and his face was pale. Although he was powerful enough to crush Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian with one hand, Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian had both obtained a golden body. Moreover, Zhao Ritian had the Yen Emperor Cauldron, which was a powerful weapon. Thus, the Buddha of Joy was hesitant to attack. It was as if he was facing a hedgehog. Kill! Ling Xiao did not give the merry Buddha any chance to catch his breath. He threw a punch at the merry Buddha. The fist print was unparalleled and domineering. Get lost! The merry Buddha's terrifying aura exploded. He threw out a palm and smashed Ling Xiao's fist print into pieces. Then, Ling Xiao was sent flying. Although the merry Buddha's body was not here, the strength of his clone was not to be underestimated. Even though Ling Xiao had refined the golden body of the Karma Buddha, he was no match for the merry Buddha. Swoosh! Ling Xiao was sent flying. Although his body was shaking and his blood was in turmoil, he did not suffer any injuries. His body flashed and he continued to attack the merry Buddha. Old bald donkey, if you have the ability, fight me head-on. Didn't you want to kill me? What's the point of dodging? Zhao Ritian sneered. The Flame Emperor cauldron floated above his head and shone down rays of light, making him look mysterious and majestic. Although Zhao Ritian was joking, he did not let his guard down. Blazing flames flew out from the Flame Emperor cauldron and turned into a few shadows of three-legged golden crows in the void. They flew across the sky and pounced on the merry Buddha. Zhao Ritian slapped the Flame Emperor cauldron and a strange sound wave vibrated. The mysterious pattern on the Flame Emperor cauldron shone brightly. The figure on the pattern seemed to have come to life. Then, in the raging flames, it pounced on the merry Buddha. Rumble. Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian attacked Joyful Buddha from both sides. Their attacks were ruthless and deadly. They wanted to finish off Joyful Buddha as soon as possible. After all, although the scripture pavilion was temporarily safe, there were the demon spirit ancestor, Tank Garuda, Puji Imperial Preceptor, and other experts outside. If they discovered the karma spirit in Xiaoya's body, it would be troublesome. The void shook violently. Every punch seemed to be able to destroy the heavens. The blazing Buddha light shrouded Ling Xiao, Zhao Ritian, and the Buddha of Joy. Joyful Buddha felt extremely aggrieved. Without the Emperor Yen cauldron, even if Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian had refined a golden body and temporarily possessed the power of a sage, he would still be able to kill them. However, the Yen Emperor cauldron was restricting him in every way. The terrifying Emperor's aura was activated by the power of a saint. Even though he had the combat strength of a Saint King, he couldn't do anything about it. Damn it! The Buddha of Joy's eyes were about to spit fire. If his real body was here, with all kinds of means and supreme treasures, he might be able to seize the Yen Emperor cauldron without any effort. But now, he had no choice but to fall into a disadvantageous position. Joyful Buddha, die! Zhao Ritian shouted. In an instant, he controlled the Emperor Yen cauldron and attacked Joyful Buddha again. The Emperor Yen cauldron spewed out red clouds and flames rose. The terrifying power around Zhao Ritian was swallowed by the Emperor Yen cauldron like a whale swallowing the sea. In an instant, Boundless Emperor's aura exploded. Rumble. Dazzling suns rose from the Emperor Yen cauldron one after another. Amidst the boundless flames, a horrifying figure appeared and slowly merged with Zhao Ritian. Zhao Ritian's face turned pale instantly. However, his eyes were brighter than ever. He stared at Joyful Buddha and said coldly, "Joyful Buddha, have a taste of my strongest power." As soon as Zhao Ritian finished his words, a blazing fist print flew across the sky and pressed down on Joyful Buddha. This fist was surrounded by endless flames and even the void started to burn. This fist was like the resurrection of the Emperor Yen. It wanted to burn down the heavens and sweep across the 9 heavens and 10 lands. It was overbearing and unstoppable. Chirp! The mysterious cry of a phoenix resounded in the heavens and earth. The Emperor Yen cauldron flashed and turned into a fire phoenix and pounced on Joyful Buddha. This guy is taking too much of a risk. Ling Xiao smiled bitterly in his heart. Zhao Ritian had gathered all the power of the Vairocana golden body to activate the Emperor Yen cauldron. Under the activation of the Vairocana golden body, this supreme emperor weapon finally revealed its true form. With this blow, Zhao Ritian would no longer have the strength to fight. Even if he killed Joyful Buddha, there were still many experts outside who were eyeing him covetously. However, since things had come to this, Ling Xiao did not say much. He also rushed toward Joyful Buddha. The blazing light between his eyebrows shone brightly. He was ready to kill Joyful Buddha at any time. You are crazy. Joyful Buddha looked at the Emperor Yen cauldron in the void in disbelief. This Supreme Emperor weapon's divine power had completely awakened. It was like a Supreme Emperor had awakened. Joyful Buddha felt his scalp tingle. A great emperor was an invincible existence. Even a sage, a supreme sage or a sage king was just an ant in the eyes of a great emperor. He could crush them to death with a flip of his hand. Joyful Buddha was finally afraid of the Emperor Yen Cauldron, this supreme emperor weapon that had destroyed the balance. Rumble. Joyful Buddha bit the tip of his tongue and spat out 9 mouthfuls of blood. Runes bloomed around him and turned into a black light. In an instant, it covered this part of the heavens and earth. Endless darkness shrouded everything. Great Mandara Boundary. This was a secret technique of Buddhism. When Joyful Buddha used it, there was a mysterious concept of darkness descending upon the heavens and destroying all life. Joyful Buddha did not choose to dodge as he knew that there was no room for him to dodge under the attack of the Supreme Emperor weapon. Hence, he could only give it his all. He used his own blood essence to build the Great Mandara Boundary to block the attack of the Emperor Yen Cauldron. Bang! A muffled sound was heard. Zhao Ritian's fist print and the fire phoenix formed by the Emperor Yen Cauldron hit the Great Mandara Boundary. The mysterious black light trembled as if it was going to be engulfed by flames at any time. The flames burned fiercely and the Great Mandara Boundary shook violently. In the end, it exploded. Chapter 1967. Swoosh. With a flash of light, Ling Xiao used the secret teleportation skill. Like a golden lightning bolt, he caught up with the Buddha of Joy in an instant. Then, he struck a palm on the Buddha's chest. The Buddha opened his eyes abruptly and stretched out his hand to block Ling Xiao's attack. At the same time, rays of Buddha's light surrounded his body and repaired his damaged body. The Buddha of Joy was not dead. Ling Xiao sneered in his heart, but he did not hesitate to strike the Buddha of Joy's arm. The Buddha of Joy was severely injured by the Flame Emperor's cauldron and could not withstand Ling Xiao's attack. He trembled violently and was hit hard on the chest. Puff! The Buddha of Joy spat out blood and his eyes were filled with murderous intent. All of you deserve to die. The Buddha of Joy's voice was hoarse and crazy. He stared at Ling Xiao as if a knife was coming out of his eyes to cut Ling Xiao into pieces. Damn it, it's you. Ling Xiao said indifferently. He suddenly exerted strength in his palm and the heaven-devouring secret skill exploded. A terrifying vortex appeared in his palm and a strong devouring power came from it. Boom! There was a huge bloody hole in the Buddha of Joy's chest. At this moment, the Buddha of Joy's majestic chi and Buddha's power flowed into Ling Xiao's body through the bloody hole. Ling Xiao was surrounded by a golden glow. He did not hold back this time. Not only did he activate the heaven-devouring secret skill, but he also activated the wordless heavenly book. With the support of the wordless heavenly book, the heaven-devouring secret skill exploded with the most terrifying power. This is the heaven-devouring secret skill. Who are you? The Buddha of Joy was shocked and looked at Ling Xiao in disbelief. Boom! Ling Xiao ignored him and focused on the heaven-devouring secret skill to absorb the power of the Mandala Buddha. After all, the body of the Mandala Buddha was only a 9-revolution half-saint, Yuan Chen. He had been severely injured by the Yen Emperor Cauldron and could no longer withstand Ling Xiao's terrifying devouring power. In an instant, all his blood and life essence were devoured by Ling Xiao. Yuan Chen's physical body was destroyed. A black shadow floated out from his body. He looked extremely weak and his eyes were filled with resentment. This shadow was the real joyous Buddha. All of you deserve to die. I'll remember you. If you don't die today, I'll personally come and take your lives. Joyful Buddha said coldly. You think you can escape? Stop dreaming. Zhao Ritian sneered. He and Ling Xiao worked well together. While Ling Xiao was devouring the power of the joyful Buddha, Zhao Ritian had already used the last of his strength to activate the Yen Emperor Cauldron to seal the void. The severely injured joyful Buddha could not escape. Who said I was going to run away? The Buddha of Joy's expression suddenly calmed down, and a strange smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Wang! The figure of the Buddha of Joy trembled slightly. In an instant, a strange wave bloomed. The blazing Buddha of Joy's body gushed out, and the strange sound wave immediately spread out of the Sutra Depository Pavilion. The Karma Spirit is on the 3rd level of the Sutra Depository Pavilion. The voice of the Buddha of Joy was like a loud bell, reverberating above the White Horse Temple. Damn it! Ling Xiao's eyes turned cold. He did not expect the Buddha of Joy to do this. Regardless of whether it was the demonic ancestor or Tankegura, they would be the ones to blame. However, if the Buddha of Joy wanted to do this, even Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian could not stop him. I hope you can survive. I wish you good luck. The Buddha of Joy looked at Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian, smiled faintly, and disappeared without a trace. Let's go. Ling Xiao grabbed Zhao Ritian, Little Yu, and the little princess and rushed out of the Sutra Depository Pavilion without hesitation. Outside the Sutra Depository Pavilion, the voice of the Buddha of Joy reverberated above the White Horse Temple. The eyes of the demonic ancestor, Tankegura, and State Master Puji flashed. The karma spirit is on the third level of the Sutra Depository Pavilion? You bunch of old bald donkeys, damn it. However, the karma spirit is destined to be mine. The demonic ancestor stared at Tankegura and State Master Puji and sneered. He instantly gave up on fighting with Tankegura and rushed towards the Sutra Depository Pavilion. Demonic ancestor, where are you going? Tankegura's eyes flashed with battle intent as he chased after the demonic ancestor. At the same time, he was puzzled. The figure just now was very familiar. It looked like a Buddha from the Buddhist sect. Although he deliberately hid his identity, he still noticed it. However, why would a Buddha from the Buddhist sect say that the karma spirit was on the third level of the Sutra Depository Pavilion? Whoosh! 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 At the same time, Ling Xiao and the other three rushed out of the Sutra Depository Pavilion. The karma spirit is indeed on you. Ha ha ha. I've searched high and low for it, only to find it by chance. The demonic ancestor's eyes instantly fell on Little Yu and the little princess, and his eyes flashed with excitement. With the demonic ancestor's strength, how could he not sense it? Little Yu had the karma spirit that he needed. Rumble. The demonic ancestor immediately made his move. Black divine light whizzed over, emitting a ghostly wail and howling sound. It turned into a large black net and directly enveloped Little Yu and the little princess. How dare you, demonic ancestor! Tankegura roared as he threw a punch across the sky. The fist print was like a blazing sun, and the wind from the punch was like a howling wind. It directly dispersed the demonic light that filled the sky. Tankegura took a step forward, grabbed the black net, and tore it apart. Instantly, the net was torn apart. Tankegura, do you really want to fight to the death with me? The demonic ancestor was so angry that he screamed. His eyes were bloodshot as he stared at Tankegura. We have already fought to the death for a long time. Tankegura sneered. His battle intent was monstrous as he locked onto the demonic ancestor. Let's go. Ling Xiao saw that Tankegura had stopped the demonic ancestor, and this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. He immediately called out to Zhao Ritian and Little Yu, and wanted to sneak out of the Sutra Depository Pavilion. Stop! Who are you people? A cold voice was heard, and it exploded in Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian's ears like thunder. Puji exuded a majestic aura, and his aura was monstrous. His eyes were incomparably cold as he blocked Ling Xiao and the others' path. Chapter 1968. Although State Master Puji knew Xiaoya, the Saintess of Joy, and Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian, who had saved the little princess, he was still alert after being reminded by the Buddha of Joy. At this moment, he displayed the strongest cultivation of a great sage. His body was full of sage aura, and his eyes were full of divine light. He immediately realized that something was wrong. Although Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian were both born in the 8 Treasures Lotus Pond of merits and virtues, they were sent in by Master Jiu after all. They did not come in through the proper channels. Imperial Advisor Puji immediately noticed the incongruous aura fluctuation. After sensing Xiaoya's aura, State Master Puji could not help but tremble. His eyes were filled with disbelief. He sensed the aura of the spirit of karma. Although he did not know what happened on the third level of the Sutra Depository Pavilion, he knew that the spirit of karma that the Buddha of Joy mentioned was most likely Xiaoye. After all, the spirit of karma in the little princess was only planted by State Master Puji to deceive the demon spirit ancestor. Strictly speaking, it was not the spirit of karma. State Master Puji, don't you know who we are? Now that the extraterrestrial demons are invading, I hope that State Master Puji will not be blinded by the demons. We will work together to kill the enemies. Xiaoye smiled faintly. Her temperament was extraordinary, and she was graceful. She immediately regained the peerless beauty of the goddess of joy. Blinded by the demons? I think you are the demons' accomplices. Why aren't you surrendering now? A strange light flashed in State Master Puji's eyes. His face became colder and colder. He shouted at Xiaoye and Ling Xiao and charged towards them. The moment he sensed the spirit of karma in Xiaoye's body, he made up his mind to take the spirit of karma for himself. It did not matter whether Xiaoye was the goddess of joy or not, nor did it matter what Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian's motive for sneaking into the 8 treasures lotus pond of merit. Nothing was more important than the spirit of karma. Rumble. Puji's whole body bloomed with blazing rays of light. His kasaya was dazzling, and he held a purple gold Buddhist staff in his hand. His other hand reached out to grab Ling Xiao and the others. His palm print covered the sky as if it had turned into a mysterious country, making it impossible for people to escape. The supreme divine ability of Buddhism, the Buddhist kingdom in a palm. This old bald donkey must have taken a fancy to the karma spirit as well. A sharp glint flashed across Ling Xiao's eyes. He had underestimated the allure of the karma spirit. Even state teacher Puji had attacked without a word. At this moment, Xiaoye's vitality had yet to recover. Zhao Ritian was also recovering his cultivation base. He was the only one who still had the strength to fight. However, in the face of a supreme sage, Ling Xiao was like a small boat in the middle of the ocean. It was as if he could capsize at any time. If Ling Xiao relied on his own strength, even if he used all his trump cards, he would not be able to shake Puji at all. However, Zhao Ritian had already handed the Flame Emperor Cauldron over to Ling Xiao. Rumble. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of blood-red killing intent. His battle intent soared, and his entire being became a little crazy. At this point, he could only go all out. If he wanted to escape from the 8 treasures lotus pond of Virtue World, he must first defeat the tiger in front of him, Puji. Facing the vast Buddhist country in a palm before him, Ling Xiao's eyes were cold. Killing intent rose around him, and the Flame Emperor Cauldron was instantly filled with boundless flames that soared into the sky. At the same time, Ling Xiao summoned the golden body of the Karma Buddha. In an instant, it grew to 100 feet tall. Its entire body emitted a dark golden light, and the Buddha light was boundless. Using the Karma Buddha to activate the Flame Emperor Cauldron, even though the golden body contained boundless Buddha power, Ling Xiao still felt as if it was being sucked dry by the Flame Emperor Cauldron. An extreme Tao Emperor weapon was not something that an ordinary person could control. What? This is an extreme Tao Emperor weapon? Feeling the vast extreme Emperor pressure, Imperial Preceptor Puji couldn't help but tremble, and his eyes revealed a look of disbelief. The Buddhist kingdom in a palm he displayed was a grand divine ability that he had refined for countless years. It was almost like a vast macro world. He was confident that even a saint would be trapped in it and would not be able to escape. For the sake of the karma spirit, he wanted to capture Xiaoye, Ling Xiao, and the others. However, he had never expected that Ling Xiao would have an extreme Tao Emperor weapon on him. An extreme Tao Emperor weapon was a supreme killing weapon that could break the balance. It could allow one to challenge and even kill an expert of a higher level. The Flame Emperor Cauldron spun in the void. An ancient and boundless extreme Tao Emperor aura gushed out. The flames turned into suns, and countless shadows of flame divine beasts surrounded the cauldron. They were boiling and roaring, exuding a monstrous aura. Crack! A crisp sound came from the world that was shrouded in darkness. The void seemed to have shattered, and a crack appeared on Puji's palm. Damn it! Puji hurriedly retracted the Buddhist country in a palm. His face was filled with pain. This was a supreme superpower that he had refined for countless years. After being hit by the Flame Emperor Cauldron, it was badly damaged. He did not know how long it would take for it to recover. Extreme Tao Emperor Weapon. The demon spirit ancestor and Tank Gara, who were in the midst of a fierce battle, were alarmed. Their eyes were filled with disbelief. This was especially true for Tankegara. He could be considered the guardian of the 8 treasures Lotus Merit Pond world. He had never expected an Extreme Tao Emperor weapon to sneak into the 8 treasures Lotus Merit Pond world. Ha ha ha. I did not expect that the old ancestor would have such a great harvest today. This Extreme Tao Emperor weapon is not something that an ant like you can wield. Hand it over. The demon spirit ancestor's face was ferocious. His eyes were filled with greed and cruelty. He could not care less about the battle with Tank Gara. His entire body exploded and disappeared from Tank Gara's senses. In an instant, he reappeared tens of thousands of feet away and pounced on Ling Xiao. The demon spirit ancestor was a true Saint King realm expert. As the ancestor of the extraterritorial demons, his strength was terrifying and unfathomable. Sensing the demon spirit ancestor's aura, Ling Xiao felt a suffocating pressure. It was like a mortal facing a boundless storm. There was no way he could resist. Buzz! The Flame Emperor Cauldron was instantly recalled by Ling Xiao. Boundless flames gathered above him, Xiaoya, and the others, forming a powerful ancient cauldron. It looked crystal clear. Chapter 1969. Hehe, you actually obtained the golden body of Buddha sect? However, with your cultivation base, even if you have the golden body of Buddha sect, how long can you sustain the Extreme Tao Emperor weapon? Hand it over obediently and I can spare your life. The demon spirit ancestor stared at Ling Xiao and laughed. His eyes were cruel and cunning. His eyes were very sharp. If Ling Xiao was a sage to be expert, even if he had an Extreme Tao Emperor weapon, he could easily kill him with his Saint King realm cultivation base. The reason why Ling Xiao could control the Extreme Tao Emperor weapon and withstand the demon spirit ancestor's attack was because of the Karma Buddha golden body. Amitba, who are you? Why do you have the golden body of Buddha sect's ancient Buddha? If you surrender obediently, I can guarantee that you won't die. Otherwise, you will be the public enemy of Buddha sect. Tank Gara, who had been calm and indifferent, suddenly lost his composure when he saw the Karma Buddha golden body. There was a trace of anger in his eyes. For the disciples of Buddha sect, the golden body of Buddha Bodhisattva was a supreme sacred object like the Sarira. It was not to be blasphemed. Although many people knew that the golden body of Buddha sect was the best treasure to condense an avatar, they were afraid of the power of Buddha sect and did not dare to do so. Even if they did, they would do it secretly. Now, Ling Xiao, who was suspected to be an outsider, was controlling a powerful golden body of Buddha. It seemed that he had completely refined it. How could Tank Gara not be angry? In addition, Ling Xiao had the Extreme Tao Emperor weapon, the Flame Emperor Cauldron. Tank Gara became more and more suspicious of Ling Xiao's identity. Therefore, he temporarily gave up on killing the demon spirit ancestor and wanted to capture Ling Xiao first. The demon spirit ancestor, Tank Gara, and state preceptor Puji, 2 saint kings and a great saint, surrounded Ling Xiao at this moment. A huge pressure came like a tsunami. It was as if it had turned into a vast sea and an endless dark starry sky that wanted to banish all life. Even with the Flame Emperor Cauldron in his hand, Ling Xiao still felt extremely dignified when he felt the aura of the 3 super experts. Moreover, in order to prevent Ling Xiao from escaping, the 3 experts had completely locked onto Ling Xiao's aura. Even if he could break through the void, they would catch up to him instantly. This is troublesome. Ling Xiao smiled bitterly in his heart. He hadn't expected that entering the 8 treasures Lotus Pond of Virtue to search for Xiao Yu would actually be so difficult and dangerous. Now, it seemed like everything would be over if he couldn't pass this hurdle. Ha ha ha. What a nice old bald donkey. It seems that you so-called Buddhist disciples and extraterrestrial demons are just the same. You don't have to say so many nice words. Aren't you just interested in my extreme Tao Emperor weapon? Come and take it if you have the ability. Even if I die today, I will drag one or two down with me. Ling Zhao's mind was spinning rapidly as he thought of a way to escape. However, he did not show it on his face. Instead, he laughed out loud without the slightest fear. He stared at the three super experts in front of him and said resolutely. Ling Zhao's words made the demon spirit ancestor, Tank Gara, and state preceptor Puji's expressions change slightly. The wielder of the extreme emperor weapon had always been extremely fearsome. If they were forced into a corner, they would not hesitate to burn their life to activate the extreme emperor weapon. Even if they could temporarily erupt with the power of a supreme emperor, who could contend against them? So what if they were Saint Kings? It was just a slightly bigger ant. For a moment, the three super experts in front of them were silent. Boom! At this moment, a vast and terrifying aura suddenly descended from the sky, containing the ultimate destructive power. It was terrifying to the extreme and instantly shrouded Puji and Tankegara. However, Tank Gara was a super expert in the Saint King realm. He was extremely vigilant and moved tens of thousands of feet away in an instant, dodging the black destructive light. However, State Preceptor Puji was not so lucky. The black destructive light seemed to be able to destroy all life and disintegrate and shatter everything from the Great Tao Law. Ah! State Preceptor Puji let out an incomparably miserable cry. His entire body was shrouded by the black destructive light. Like a sandstorm, countless pieces of flesh and blood began to dissipate. Soon, only a golden skeleton was left. The golden skeleton exuded an extremely pure Buddhist light and formed mysterious runes. The black destructive light constantly destroyed the runes and reformed new runes. In the end, State Preceptor Puji's aura became weaker and weaker. The screams from his mouth became more and more intense. He was almost falling to the saint realm. This kind of sudden unforeseen event caused everyone to be stupefied. Who is it that came to save us? Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian looked at each other with a trace of doubt in their eyes. This is the original world extermination light. It's you, Li Daozong. Why do you want to harm me? Do you want to betray the Buddhist sect? State Preceptor Puji roared as he stared at the void. His eyes were filled with anger and disbelief. Li Daozong. Tank Gara's eyes also became indifferent as he stared at a certain spot in the void. Kacha! A black bolt of lightning tore through the void. It was as if the world had been split in half. A vast and terrifying power surged out. A figure wearing a black dragon robe had descended. It was a middle-aged man with a majestic face wearing a black flat crown. He was extremely tall and was shrouded in black light. His aura was vast and terrifying. He was not weaker than the demon spirit ancestor and Tank Gara at all. After seeing the middle-aged man, State Preceptor Puji's eyes were filled with hatred. Father! That's my father. He's here to save us. The little princess, who had been lying in Xiaoya's arms, also showed an extremely excited expression after seeing the middle-aged man and shouted. The middle-aged man was the emperor of the Tang Empire, Li Daozong. He's actually a Saint King realm cultivator. But, why did he save us? There was a trace of doubt in Ling Zhao's eyes. A light flashed in his hand, and the Emperor talisman that Li Daozong had asked someone to send to him appeared. He was very puzzled as to why Li Daozong would want to get involved in this mess. Li Daozong, you've gone too far. Tank Gara frowned slightly and said lightly. I've gone too far. Ha ha ha. Tank Gara, in order to resurrect you, you refined my daughter Li Chunyang into your cauldron. Why didn't you say that? Why didn't you say that you killed my father? Puji, you old dog, killed my wife. Why didn't you say that? You old bald donkeys, I've tolerated you for a long time. Chapter 1970. Li Chunyang was refined into a cauldron by Tankegara. His father, wife, and children were all killed. Isn't this Li Daozong too pitiful? Zhao Ritian transmitted his voice to Ling Xiao with a strange expression. He and Ling Xiao were still wondering why Li Daozong would take action, but now it seemed that Li Daozong should have taken action long ago, but for some unknown reason, he had been holding back until now. It turns out that Princess Chunyang was actually refined into a cauldron by Tang Kegara. These sanctimonious old bald donkeys really deserve to die. Ling Xiao also said coldly. In the void, Li Daozong stepped on the void, exuding a domineering and terrifying aura. He was like a furious divine dragon, overbearing and majestic. His face was filled with incomparable sorrow, like a volcano erupting. His eyes were filled with undisguised hatred and murderous intent. At this moment, Li Daozong looked like a hero at the end of his road, making people unconsciously feel sympathy for him. Li Daozong, you have so many children. What's wrong with sacrificing one of your daughters to prolong the life of the founder? As for your father and wife, they are all stubborn people. They actually tried to betray the Buddha and join the extraterrestrial demons. We killed them, of course, to enforce justice on behalf of the heavens. They have been purified by the Buddha, and may be reincarnated as humans in the next life. This is their best destination. I advise you not to act recklessly. Those who dare to betray the Buddha, no matter who they are, will die even if they escape to the ends of the earth. Puji stared at Li Daozong and said coldly. Such a shameless face, such shameless words. I, Li Daozong, have really learned something today. Enforcing justice on behalf of the heavens, the best destination. Tang Kegara, Puji, let's settle this today. Li Daozong's eyes were full of ridicule as he sneered coldly. Li Daozong, if I'm not wrong, you used a secret technique to forcibly devour the dragon vein of the Tang Empire to have your current cultivation and strength, right? However, the backlash of this secret technique is extremely strong. I'm afraid that you will be in danger of being crushed. Do you think that you can be my opponent after forcibly raising your cultivation to the Saint King realm? Tang Kegara's eyes suddenly flashed as he stared at Li Daozong and said lightly. Forcibly raising his cultivation with a secret technique? It seems like this Li Daozong has already decided to die. Ling Xiao thought to himself. Ha ha ha. Interesting, very interesting. Li Daozong, well said. These sanctimonious bald donkeys were not good people in the first place. As long as you don't stop me from capturing those little fellows, I'll help you slaughter these two old bald donkeys and avenge you. How about it? The demon spirit ancestor said with a smile. He looked at Li Daozong as if he was watching a show. Ling Xiao, Zhao Ritian, and Xiaoye's hearts skipped a beat. Their gazes landed on Li Daozong, waiting for his reply. If Li Daozong chose to help the devil spirit ancestor, then Ling Xiao and the others would be in danger. However, Ling Xiao looked at the Emperor talisman in his hand and instinctively felt that Li Daozong would not agree to the demon spirit ancestor's request. Li Daozong glanced at the progenitor and proudly laughed. Who do you think you are? Do you think you're worthy of being with my Li Dao sect? My grudges with Tang Kegara and Puji have nothing to do with you. Today, you killed the people of the Tang Empire. You shall pay with your life. Li Daozong's voice was very domineering and carried an arrogant attitude. His voice was full of disdain, causing the progenitor to fly into a rage. Good, good, good. Li Daozong, you really don't want to do things the hard way. If that's the case, then I'd like to see how you're going to kill me. The demon spirit ancestor's eyes were filled with blood-red killing intent. Rumble. Tang Kegara, Puji, and the demon spirit ancestor released a vast and terrifying aura. At the same time, they locked onto Li Daozong as if they were going to launch a thunderous attack at any time. They already knew what Li Daozong was thinking. Once such a peerless figure made up his mind, there was no way to change his mind. The only way to change his mind was to destroy him. You guys are sent by He Yuanjun, right? Don't worry. I'll stop them even if I have to risk my life. You guys can take advantage of the chaos and leave little Ping Yang to He Yuanjun. Let him take care of little Ping Yang for me. Li Daozong's voice suddenly entered Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian's ears. You know Master Zhou. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He did not expect Li Daozong to send him a message. However, his message was like a clay ox entering the sea. Li Daozong did not reply to him. Ling Xiao could see that Li Daozong, who was above the void, looked at him calmly. Then, a black light rose from his body. It contained a power that could destroy everything. In an instant, the sound of a dragon's roar could be heard. Roar! 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 A clear dragon's roar reverberated in the void. Li Daozong suddenly stomped his foot and rushed towards Tankegara and the demon spirit ancestor like a divine dragon. As for Puji, his physical body was severely injured by Li Daozong. He only had 10% or 20% of his strength left. Feeling the unstoppable power of Li Daozong, he was scared and retreated. Amitabha, Li Daozong. Since you're so stubborn, then I'll send you to the afterlife. Tankegara softly chanted the name of Buddha. His eyes were incomparably cold as he lightly slapped his palm towards Li Daozong. Great Void Palm. Old bald donkey is still so insidious. Li Daozong sneered. He did not dodge, but punched towards Tankegara. Kacha! A black lightning bolt shot out and turned into a black divine dragon in the void. The lightning was dazzling and unparalleled. It rushed towards Tankegara's great void palm. The Grand Heaven Void Palm was a supreme saint technique created by Tank Garuda himself. It was derived from the mysterious concepts of void heavens, void earth, void man, and void everything. It was capable of transforming everything into nothingness, and its might was extremely terrifying. Just like the demon spirit ancestor, he suffered a great loss under Tankegara's great void palm. However, Li Daozong seemed to be very familiar with Tankegara. He did not dodge at all. Bang! When the fist and the palm collided, the black dragon was instantly smashed into nothingness by the great void palm. However, black divine light surged in the void, and endless destructive light gushed out. In an instant, it exploded from all directions and enveloped Tankegara. Li Daozong knew how terrifying Tankegara's strength was, so his first attack was extremely fierce. Kiki. Li Daozong, have a taste of the demon spirit ancestors' demon spirit world. Chapter 1971. Cries of ghosts and howls of wolves could be heard from all directions. The sound was extremely sharp, as if it could pierce through one's primordial spirit. As for the demon spirit ancestor's figure, it instantly split into thousands of figures and rushed towards Li Daozong from all directions. The demon spirit ancestor and Tankegara were both super experts in the Saint King realm. They were like living fossils. Not only were they extremely powerful, but their methods were also extremely ruthless. However, Li Daozong did not show any signs of weakness under their siege. Instead, he became more and more courageous as the blood energy around him rose. He had an invincible aura around him. Let's go. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he saw the intense battle between Li Daozong and the demon spirit ancestor and Tankegara. He immediately knew that this was the best time to leave. Although he still had many doubts in his heart and did not know why Li Daozong wanted him to bring the little princess out to Master Zhou, he knew that Master Zhou would definitely know the cause and effect of this. Whoosh! The Emperor Yen cauldron shone brightly and flames rose, causing the surrounding void to tremble slightly. Under the protection of the Emperor Yen cauldron, Ling Xiao and the other three flew out of Chang'an City at top speed. Want to leave? Don't even think about it. State Master Puji had long been paying attention to Ling Xiao and the other three's movements. He could not help but sneer. Boom! Mysterious runes danced in his palm as he immediately activated the supreme array of the White Horse Temple. Suddenly, a mysterious Sanskrit chant sounded in the void as a vast and majestic Buddhist light shrouded the heavens and the earth. The void was dense as an incomparably terrifying fluctuation of the array spread out. In the void, flowers fell from the sky as golden lotuses bloomed from the ground. The ancient Sanskrit chant and the holy Buddhist light made it look like a paradise. Mysterious figures of Buddhas appeared in the void. In total, there were tens of thousands of mysterious Buddhas. They sat cross-legged in the void as their light shone in all directions. There was a mysterious fluctuation of indestructible Vajra. Kacha. The Yen Emperor cauldron crashed into the bodies of the tens of thousands of Buddhas. There was a crisp sound as if lightning had exploded. The tens of thousands of Buddhas trembled slightly, but in the end, they managed to block the Yen Emperor cauldron. This is the 1000 Buddhas Imperial Array, the supreme imperial array left behind by the 3 ancient Buddhas. Although this is only a corner of the imperial array, it is probably enough to stop us. We're in big trouble. Xiaoye's eyes revealed a hint of seriousness. She could feel that the million Buddhas greeting array in front of her was emitting a vast Buddhist light. Waves of Emperor's aura spread out, making the tens of thousands of Buddhas look vivid and lifelike. They all contained powerful energy fluctuations and blocked the Yen Emperor cauldron. Ling Xiao and the others were instantly trapped by the million Buddhas greeting formation. They had no way to escape. No one can escape from the 10,000 Buddhas imperial formation. You'd better hand over the karma spirit and the extreme Dao monarch weapon. Led the Ling Imperial, Ling. Li Daozong, who was fighting with the demon spirit ancestor and Tankegara, was shocked. He wanted to shake off the demon spirit ancestor and Tankegara to save Ling Xiao and the others. However, the progenitor and Tank Garuda had been guarding against Li Daozong for a long time. At this moment, they used powerful techniques. Each of their attacks contained a fatal threat. They kept on attacking Li Daozong, not allowing him to save Ling Xiao and the others. Boom! 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 Under Ling Xiao's control, the Yen Emperor cauldron exploded with extreme imperial aura. It kept colliding with the 1000 Buddhas imperial array. Endless flames burned the sky, trying to turn everything into nothingness. Although the 1000 Buddhas imperial array was shaking violently, it was still an incomplete imperial array. It could not completely block the power of the Yen Emperor cauldron. However, there was little hope for Ling Xiao and the others to escape in a short period of time. Boom! Li Daozong's eyes revealed a trace of crazy killing intent. Blazing saber light bloomed from his body, making his aura incomparably sharp. Clang! The sound of a blade light being unsheathed was heard. Li Daozong held a long black blade in his hand. The blade was long and narrow, filled with black divine light. In an instant, it soared into the sky and slashed down at the million Buddhas. You're courting death. The demon spirit ancestor was furious. He didn't expect Li Daozong to save Ling Xiao while they were fighting. A black demonic light gathered in his hand, and he slapped it toward Li Daozong. Tank Gara didn't say anything, but his eyes were cold and his attack was extremely insidious. The great void palm once again flew out. Open! Li Daozong looked ruthless. He didn't choose to dodge. Instead, black holy light rose around him. He chose to take on the attacks from the demon spirit ancestor and Tank Gara. His long blade slashed at the million Buddhas greeting formation. Rumble! A 30,000-meter-long saber light pressed down as if it had cut through the sky. It directly slashed at the weakest part of the grand formation of the million Buddhas. Blazing divine light gushed out, and in an instant, a small opening appeared. Go! Ling Xiao didn't hesitate at all. Divine light flashed in his eyes, and the Yen Emperor cauldron also flew over at an extremely fast speed. It slammed into the small opening, and turned it into a door. The Yen Emperor cauldron wrapped Ling Xiao and the other 3, and instantly turned into a fiery light, flying out of the million Buddhas greeting formation. At the same time, the demon spirit ancestor and Tank Gara also slammed heavily on Li Daozong. Puff! Li Daozong's body trembled, and he suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood. His face instantly became extremely pale. Where do you think you're going? Puji Imperial Tutor didn't expect Li Daozong to risk his life to save Ling Xiao and the others. Seeing the Karma Spirit and the Apex Emperor weapon flying away, he couldn't remain calm. He was very unwilling to give up, and he immediately soared into the sky, wanting to chase after Ling Xiao and the others. Get lost! Li Daozong wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, and the long black saber in his hand slashed across the sky. The blazing saber light was extremely fast, like a divine sword that could split heaven and earth, and instantly fell on Puji Imperial Tutor's head. Puji Imperial Tutor's cultivation was originally lower than Li Daozong's, and now that he was seriously injured, there was no way for him to block Li Daozong's saber. He was directly split into two halves, and he didn't even have time to scream before his soul was completely scattered. Say hello to He Yuanjun for me. Tell him that I didn't let him down as a brother. Li Daozong looked at the figures of Ling Xiao and the others, and transmitted a message to Ling Xiao. He then laughed heartily, and turned around to attack the demon spirit ancestor and tank Gera. What a righteous Li Daozong. I'm afraid he's going to die in the hands of the demon spirit ancestor and tank Gera. Zhao Ritian sighed. After all, Li Daozong's cultivation wasn't at the Saint King realm. He had used a secret technique to forcefully raise his cultivation to the Saint King realm, and that was how he could unleash such powerful combat strength. However, when the secret technique ended, he would most likely die. We owe Li Daozong our lives. The demon spirit ancestor and tank Gera, their lives are mine. Ling Xiao's eyes were gloomy, revealing a hint of coldness as he slowly said. And me. Zhao Ritian also solemnly said. Kacha. After leaving Chang'an City, the Flame Emperor Cauldron directly broke through the void, and followed the spatial coordinates set by Master Jiu, leaving the 8 treasures Lotus Pond of Virtue World. Chapter 1972. Rumble. Rumble. The void shook violently as the surrounding area was filled with mysterious turbulence. Strange ripples filled the air, making it hard to tell if it was an illusion or reality. The Yen Emperor's cauldron was like a dazzling sun, blooming above the 9 heavens, emitting an eternal radiance. It brought Ling Xiao, Zhao Ritian, Xiao Yu, and the little princess Li Pingyang out. Sob. Father. Will anything happen to Imperial Father? The little princess' eyes were filled with tears as she looked at Ling Xiao. Don't worry. Li Daozong is a hero with unparalleled combat strength. Now that we are no longer holding him back, he will definitely fight his way out. He will be fine. Ling Xiao comforted her. However, he was a little sad. Li Daozong had used a secret technique to forcefully raise his cultivation to the King Sage realm. In addition, in order to break the Million Buddha's greeting array and help Ling Xiao and the rest escape, he had taken a hit from the demonic spirit ancestor and tank Gera. This time, Li Daozong was most likely going to die. However, Ling Xiao could not say this to the little princess. He could only comfort her and give her some hope. This is too depressing. These Buddhist monks are a bunch of sanctimonious bastards. Ling Xiao, in order to save us, Li Daozong is going to die this time. Are you going to avenge him? Anyway, I, Zhao Ritian, will remember this. Zhao Ritian said to Ling Xiao through telepathy. His face was ghastly and his eyes were filled with killing intent. How is that possible? If we don't avenge him, how can we face Li Daozong and the little princess? When I become a martial sage, I will enter the 8 treasure Lotus Merit Pool again. At that time, it will be the death of the demonic spirit ancestor and tank Gera. Ling Xiao said coldly. Along the way, everyone was in low spirits. Li Daozong had already made up his mind to die. Although they had only met once, Li Daozong's heroic spirit and image had been deeply imprinted in Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian's hearts. Crack. After flying for a long time, when the Yen Emperor's cauldron broke through the void boundary wall again, a bright light filled the air. Ling Xiao and the other 3 appeared in a secret chamber. A white-haired old man sat in the secret room. He was Master Jiu, who had been waiting for a very long time. When he saw Ling Xiao's group of 4 suddenly appear, he could not help but shiver. His gaze immediately landed on Xiao Yu behind Ling Xiao. He was extremely excited and uneasy, like a young man meeting his crush for the first time. At that moment, it was as if Master Jiao only had eyes for Xiaoye and no one else. The moment Xiaoye saw Master Jiao, she froze for a moment. Then, she seemed to have thought of something. She covered her mouth with both hands, and her body began to tremble violently. Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian looked at each other. They immediately carried the little princess and quietly left the secret room, leaving Master Wine and Xiao Yu alone. The joy of reuniting after such a long time made Ling Xiao very emotional. They did not want to ruin the beautiful time between Master Jiao and Xiao Yu. They knew that after not seeing each other for so many years, they probably had a lot to say to each other. Outside the secret room, there was still a snowy mountain range. The sky was high, and it was extremely vast. Standing on top of the mountain, there was a sense of loneliness. Hee, this time, we have completed our mission perfectly. Ling Xiao, although you gave me the elixir formula of the golden primordial chaos pill, I don't owe you anything anymore. We are even. However, remember this. The next time I see you, I will not show you any mercy. I will definitely defeat you. Don't be too weak and disappoint me. Zhao Ritian stretched his back and took a deep breath of the fresh and cold mountain wind. He was very pleased with himself. This time, thank you very much. Ling Xiao smiled and nodded. This time, in the 8 treasures lotus pond of merit, Ling Xiao did not expect the foundation of the Buddhist sect to be so terrifying. If it were not for Zhao Ritian's Emperor Yan Cauldron, he would not have been able to rescue Xiao Yu so easily. Moreover, he and Zhao Ritian had each obtained a golden body of the Buddhist sect. He had high hopes of obtaining the complete secret skill of karma from the golden body of the Karma Lord Buddha. These were all great rewards. There's nothing to thank me for. I'm not helping you. We are just taking what we need. Zhao Ritian raised his head and said proudly. Brother Kasyapa, is this the realm of the gods? The little princess looked around and asked curiously. She had heard Li Daozong talk about the realm of the gods. He said that the realm of the gods was the origin of all worlds and the birthplace of all life. This was her first time in the realm of the gods, so she was very curious about this place. Ling Xiao did not hide anything from her. He told the little princess about how they entered the 8 treasures lotus pond of merit to look for Xiao Yu. Little princess, this is the realm of the gods. The realm of the gods is extremely vast. You will slowly understand it in the future. Ling Xiao said with a smile. Zhao Ritian stood there in silence for a while. Suddenly, his expression became a little strange. He said to Ling Xiao through telepathy, Ling Xiao, second master wants me to tell you that the golden body of the Karma Lord Buddha that you have obtained is not simple. I'm afraid it would be a waste for you to just refine it into a clone. If you want to achieve sanctification with your physical body and obtain the secret skill of karma, perhaps the best way is to integrate the golden body of the Karma Lord Buddha into your own body. Second master. That mysterious existence in your body, right? What's his background? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. Black and white divine lights filled the air as if he wanted to see the second master in Zhao Ritian's body clearly. Ling Xiao was very curious about the second master. However, he did not expect the second master to know that he wanted to achieve sanctification with his physical body. He even knew about the secret skill of karma. This was not simple. I'm not very clear about the second master's background. However, what he said is definitely correct. You don't have to think too much about it. Zhao Ritian said with a smile. Alright, thank you. Ling Xiao said with a nod. He guessed that the second master was the one who told Zhao Ritian about the Buddhist treasures in the 8 treasures lotus pond of merit. Otherwise, he would not know so much about the golden body of the Buddha. The second master had followed Zhao Ritian from the god of war realm all the way to the realm of the gods. He should be an almighty in the realm of the gods. Could it be related to the great battle a million years ago? A million years ago, the Scarlet Dragon god of war and the others fell into the god of war realm because of that great battle. The second master must have entered the god of war realm at that time. Chapter 1973. Not long after, Master Wine and Xiaoye walked out of the secret chamber together. Master Wine's face was full of smiles. His old face seemed to have become much younger. Xiaoye's eyes were still filled with tears, but her face was filled with happiness. My two friends, you have helped me find Xiaoye. I won't be polite with you. If you need my help in the future, I will do my best to help you. Master Jiu looked at Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian seriously, then bowed deeply to them. Master Wine had told Master Wine about the dangers of the 8 treasures Lotus Pond of Virtue. Xiaoye had also told Master Wine about their experience. Master Wine was naturally very grateful to Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian. Master Wine, you are too polite. Hundreds of thousands of years have passed, but you have not given up on each other. That is the most important thing. Ling Xiao also sighed with emotion. He was very impressed with Master Wine. For hundreds of thousands of years, his heart had not changed. He had been painstakingly searching for Xiaoye's whereabouts. His sincerity was very moving. Fortunately, Xiaoye had not forgotten Master Wine and had not been lost in the cycle of reincarnation. In the end, they had achieved a perfect and happy ending. Master Wine, you have to treat Miss Xiaoye better in the future. She has suffered a lot because of you. Those old monks from the Buddhist sect are really despicable. Zhao Ritian said indignantly. Definitely. Sooner or later, I will personally seek revenge from the Buddha of Joy. Master Wine said solemnly. There was a trace of coldness in his eyes. Although he was honest, he was still very angry about what had happened to Xiaoye. The consequences of angering an honest person were very scary. Master Wine had already remembered the Buddha of Joy. Ling Xiao believed that with Master Wine's patience, he would definitely take revenge one day. Master Wine, do you know Li Daozong? It is all thanks to Li Daozong that we were able to escape from death this time. This is his daughter, Princess Ping Yang. Li Daozong asked me to tell you to take care of Princess Ping Yang in the future. Ling Xiao asked Master Jiu. There was a hint of curiosity in his eyes. Ling Xiao felt that Master Wine and Li Daozong had a very special relationship. Otherwise, Master Wine would not have entrusted his life to him. Li Daozong. He is my sworn brother. I owe him. When Master Jiu heard Ling Xiao ask about Li Daozong, his eyes became sad. He sighed and slowly explained the relationship between him and Li Daozong. Only then did Ling Xiao understand. It turned out that before Li Daozong had become a saint, he had come to the God realm to train. He had met Master Wine, and they had become best friends. They had a very deep relationship. Master Wine had told Li Daozong about Little Yu before, and Li Daozong remembered it. However, because of some things, Li Daozong left without saying goodbye and returned to the 8 treasures Lotus Pond of Virtue world. He became the emperor of the Great Tang Empire, and Grand Master Wine lost contact with Li Daozong. Master Wine did not expect Li Daozong to be in the 8 treasures Lotus Merit Pool and save Xiaoye, Ling Xiao, and the others at the most critical moment. Devil Spirit Primogenitor, Tank Garuda, they've gone too far. It's fine if nothing happened to my big brother, but if my big brother, I will fight them to the death. Master Jiu's eyes flashed with blood-red murderous intent as he spoke resolutely. It turns out that Master Wine and Li Daozong have such a relationship. No wonder he risked his life to save us. However, how did he know that we're your people? Ling Xiao nodded his head with some emotion. It might be because of this string of Tiangang Buddhist beads. This string of Tiangang Buddhist beads was given to me by Li Daozong. I used the Tiangang Buddhist beads to send you into the 8 treasures Lotus Pond of Virtue. Naturally, he would know. Master Jiu said slowly. A string of 36 glittering Buddhist beads appeared in his hand. A look of longing appeared in his eyes. I see. Master Wine, don't worry. His Majesty Li Daozong is blessed. He should be able to escape. Ling Xiao comforted him. I believe so too. Master Jiu nodded. His gaze fell on the little princess, and his gaze became extremely gentle. Little Ping Yang, I'm your father's good brother. Don't worry. Xiaoye and I will take good care of you in the future. Master Wine said gently as he stretched out his arms toward the little princess. The little princess was a little hesitant. She tilted her head and blinked her clear and pure eyes as she looked at Master Wine and asked, Are you he Yuanjun? I've heard my father talk about you. Yuanjun Daozong, your loyalty is like gold. He said that you will definitely treat me well. After the little princess finished speaking, she timidly stretched out her little hand and slowly went into Master Wine's embrace. Master Wine's body trembled as tears flowed silently from his eyes. Yuanjun Daozong, your loyalty is like gold. Big brother, you must live. Master Wine's voice was a little hoarse. He hugged the little princess tightly in his arms as tears streamed down his face. When Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian saw this scene, their hearts were filled with emotions. In the divine world, they were used to deceiving each other and scheming against each other. Now that they were witnessing such a pure brotherly bond, they were moved beyond words. Money is easy to get, but brothers are hard to come by. Ling Xiao also sighed softly. Ling Xiao, what do you think of me? Why don't you acknowledge me as your big brother and I'll take care of you in the future? Zhao Ritian suddenly came up and chuckled at Ling Xiao. You want to be my big brother? Forget it. You can't beat me every time. You're more suitable to be my little brother. Zhao Ritian glanced at Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao, just you wait. One day, I'll defeat you. Zhao Ritian was furious as he glared at Ling Xiao. We'll talk about it after you defeat me. Ling Xiao said with a smile. Master Wine calmed himself down and looked at Ling Xiao. Little friend, you've been in the 8-treasure lotus pond of virtue for more than half a year. Saintess Jin Se from the Taishang Palace has already left. She even took the little monk Hui Ning with her. She told me to tell you that there's an emergency in the sect and that we'll meet again if fate allows it. Jin Se has already left? Oh well, we'll meet again one day. When Ling Xiao heard Master Jiu's words, a hint of sadness flashed across his eyes as he nodded slowly. Jin Se's current state made Ling Xiao's heart ache the most. The person he loved the most was right in front of him, but unfortunately, she no longer remembered him.